today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1 855 300 9993 or visit Truel.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truel.com.
KMOX, the 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year, recognized by the Missouri Broadcasters Association. KMOX, we were built for this.
Sammy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX with Hancock and Kelly, as we always have on Friday mornings, at least for a short period of time. And we had Major Garrett on our regular visit on Thursdays yesterday, who gave us a little doom and gloom and said that there might be, based on conversations he was having, Bill Cassidy being one of them, that there may not be the votes in the Senate to move along the debt ceiling deal. Well, that happened to be inaccurate because they did. They passed it yesterday. So it moves now to President Biden's desk to be signed, which he will do. So, guys, we averted disaster. I think we all kind of figured, and you said this last week, they'll get something done.
I did.
But there's always that theater that happens in the middle, and there are these ebbs and flows, and sometimes you think, oh, it's going to happen. Everything's going to be fine. And the next day you think, uh-oh, there's a problem. It's not going to be fine. Well, they got it done.
Yeah, they got it done. And, it happened pretty much, I don't like to talk.
Right? Wow. Here we
go. But it happened pretty much the way I said it would. They sat down. They both claimed a victory. They both got stuff they wanted. They both kept stuff out of it they didn't want in it. And what was most gratifying to me was the size of the majorities, 300 plus votes in the House, 63 votes in the Senate.
Which is a lot. It wasn't close.
Yeah. And so, this is the way the system is supposed to work. And whenever you've got divided government and one of these debt ceiling bills comes up, you go through this exact same dance every single time. And there have been a couple of times where the government's been shut down for a few days, but this is the typical way it's handled, and I'm glad to see the institution being able to work, and it did work.
And I think the president in particular and Speaker McCarthy both deserve a lot of credit. I mean, they sat down, they negotiated, they went back to their own teams. The president, for the last week and a half, he had a deal with Speaker McCarthy, and he took incoming from his own party. The Democrats were, we've given up too much, people are going to get hurt. The Republicans were going crazy. He wasn't out declaring victory. He was staying silent and taking a lot of incoming. And as a result, he had allowed, I think, Speaker McCarthy to get this thing over the line, and they both deserve a lot of credit. And I think like John says, that's how it's supposed to work. And if you think about it, with the exception of the COVID years, which I think we can all agree was a unique circumstance, we haven't seen things passed in a bipartisan nature in over a decade in this country. And this old senile person that the Republicans like to say, can't be the president. Well, it looks as though he may have outfoxed him. Maybe he still does have it together.
Is there anything to the House Freedom Caucus and other Republicans who want Kevin McCarthy to be removed from his position as Speaker?
Well, they don't have the votes. And someday they may have the votes, but they don't have the votes today. And so I don't put much stock in it.
Yeah, the other thing that was interesting to me, we pointed this out on our show, and this is not necessarily true throughout all the votes, but if you look at the folks who voted for it, most of them were new folks in Congress. Our own two senators from Missouri voted against it. They're both relatively new. Cori Bush, who's only in her second term, voted against it. Alford on the Kansas City side, a Republican, voted against it. That, I think, could foretell what life is going to be like, because the wise hairs, the Mitch McConnells and others on all sides, came and showed that the center held. But the new folks who are getting elected, who compromise is a bad word on either side, were the ones who represented the no votes.
Well, let me ask this question then. Is it because that's who they are and that's what we have to look forward to? Or is there something about being in office for a period of time where you start to realize, hey, in order to get anything done, I can't be all the way out here. I have to come back to the middle.
Potentially both. I don't think there was ever going to be a way to get the MAGA types or the Cori Bush types and AOC types on board here. So, potentially both.
Yeah, and I think we're electing more and more people that don't really care about governing. They're there for they want to be a celebrity. They
Mhm.
want to be.
I'd agree with that.
They want to be incendiary, and governing just isn't in their priority list of things they want to do. And it used to be that the vast majority of people that ran for Congress, whatever you may think of them, they wanted to go there and legislate, and that's just not the case anymore. And so, if you don't give a rip about legislating,
Mhm.
and you can vote no and rail on how bad the establishment is, then that's what you're going to do, and that's what many decided to do, but not that many.
I see how Holly Schmidt, Cori Bush, some of the newer representatives voted no. And I think a lot of that does have to do with what Michael said, that compromise is a 4-letter word. And the current tendencies are to never bend at all. But what about more experienced members of Congress like Senator Lindsey Graham, who voted no? That was just to continue his celebrity as being a contrarian.
I don't know why Lindsey Graham voted no on it. I'm sure he's got his reason. He's an interesting guy. But
That's a nice compliment.
yeah, but I'm
That
not.
Lindsey Graham, pretty interesting guy.
I'm not sure why he would have voted no. He would
Yeah.
strike me as the kind of person that would go for a compromise deal like this, but who knows?
Yeah, but I wasn't surprised to see Bernie Sanders say that he would vote no.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm worrisome about. We had a president who knew how to negotiate here. This is a person who had 4 decades in government, so he knows how to negotiate. He also appreciated the position that the speaker was in. The speaker didn't have an easy path to become speaker. He had to give him the room to be able to do it. So I think it comes down to negotiations. But I'm with John. I mean, there was a time where I really thought Lindsey Graham was a unique individual, which he still is. But now I
That's
don't
another
know
nice
what
word.
I don't know what he stands for anymore.
Let me ask you this, because you said, John, that people aren't as interested in governing
Yeah.
as people in Congress used to be, that these newcomers aren't. And I know this is just a Newsmax host. Eric Bolling said yesterday he was slamming the debt deal.
Mm.
And his quote was, Kevin McCarthy may have handed Joe Biden a second term in this deal. And he was indignant about it. My issue with this is, in a moment like this, when you're negotiating this deal, which is so important to the country, to the health of the country, because it would have been catastrophic to not get a deal done. A lot of people would have lost work. This would have been very, very, very bad for the economy. Shouldn't that be priority one, is to make everybody's life better and not worry about who gets elected in the next election? Shouldn't we be worried about what's good for the country?
Sure, but you got to. I mean, if you're in politics, you got to pay attention to both. You want to make good policy. I mean, you want to put your team in a best position to win, and then if you can achieve,
But not
both
at the
of
expense
those,
of people, right?
Yeah. Well, no, but you want to be able to. Politics is about a win-win situation. And that's what happened with the deal here. I think both sides have something in there, or kept something out of there that they can feel good about.
Sure.
I appreciate where that's coming from, but it's not a reality. I mean, I worked for Mr. Gephardt when he was the Democratic leader. So we were helping Democrats throughout the country. Your number one job as an elected official is to get yourself reelected. And that's what these politicians are conditioned and focused on doing. I understand what you're saying about, wouldn't it be great if everybody did things in the pie in the sky way, but that's never been the case. Their number one job is always going to get themselves reelected.
I know it's a naive position, or it sounds like a naive position, but things are so volatile now, and this had devastating consequences potentially if it doesn't get done. It's not about winning the game. It's not about my team winning the next election. Here's a little policy that doesn't get passed or does, and not that big of a deal. I can claim a victory or not. This could have been really, really bad. This is different than just the typical politics. At least to me, it is.
I'm with you completely. But at the same time, it is politics. And I do think, Eric Bolling, I get what you were saying from Newsmax. I don't think he's handed Joe Biden a victory, but I think he's given Joe Biden a platform to run on. And that is, after we watched Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump beat the snot out of each other and acting a fool and going way onto the right, Joe Biden's going to be in a place and be able to make the case and have the proof of, hey, You, the American people, want us to work together. I did it. I
Yeah,
did it on
here's-
the infrastructure bill. I've done it on the debt ceiling bill. I'm there. I'm that
Well,
person.
here's the problem with Biden is all of that stuff may very well be true, but his numbers are in the 30s. And so I
But
don't
he's going to
know
be running against somebody who's going to be in the 20s.
That's his ticket.
Yeah.
That's his ticket is Donald
It's like
Trump.
the Cardinals in the NL Central.
Oh my gosh, they're in a bad division.
That's
That's,
right.
what Biden
Hey,
is
Great
doing.
analogy.
I know Michael Kelly's leaving. Are you leaving too?
I'll stay for another.
What a guy.
Oh man.
John
Are
Hancock.
you guys going to talk about
John
me while I'm
Hancock.
gone?
I don't know. Why don't you listen on the Odyssey app? Goodbye, Michael Kelly. Hancock's with us for a little bit longer. Amy Marks, Kors, Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Dave Glover, he's got a lot to say.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays beginning at 1 on KMOX.
It is 10:28. The time check brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Fairwinds River's Edge is an award-winning independent living community located in the heart of St. Charles. Voted Best Independent Living by U.S. News and World Report. Fairwinds River's Edge provides the life-enhancing independent living services you need to support your best self. We believe that joy isn't just for the young. It's for the young at heart. With services and amenities handling life's necessities, you can dance and enjoy live entertainment at happy hour. Play a competitive game of beanbag baseball with your neighbors. Participate in an aqua fitness class in a warm water pool, or go out to Crown Candy for lunch. Say goodbye to home maintenance, cooking and cleaning, and hello to fun. In our active community for adults 55 plus, you'll cultivate connections and make meaningful memories in a community that feels like home. Join the fun at Fairwinds River's Edge on Thursday, June 15th at our Taste of Summer party, where we'll have live entertainment. Call 636-754-2317 to RSVP.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Rooney. Do you have an old car that's taking up room in the driveway? Repairs are costly and selling is a hassle. That's why you should donate it to Goodwill. Donating is quick and towing is free. Plus, you get a tax receipt and 4 tickets to a Cardinals game, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a win-win. For more information or to donate, visit online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention Cardinals.
At 10:30, we have sunny skies, 85 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Stuart McMillan. Here's what's happening. The nation's employers stepped up their hiring in May with well above expectations, adding a robust 339,000 jobs and evidence of strength in an economy that the Federal Reserve is desperately trying to cool right now. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger explains in more detail.
The strength of the jobs report does put the Federal Reserve in a precarious situation. The Fed has said that with a strong labor market, it would continue to raise interest rates. Most likely for the June meeting, the Fed will go on pause. But this report really does belie the notion that the economy is slowing down.
Another of the nation's military installations will be renamed today. The Army's storied Fort Bragg in North Carolina will be renamed Fort Liberty in a ceremony. The change will cost taxpayers more than $6 million. It's a part of the Defense Department's decision to rename military installations having the names of Confederate soldiers. 11 finalists aged 11 to 14 competed in the annual Scripps National Spelling Bee last night. 8th grader Dev Shaw from Largo, Florida, spoke to CBS Morning.
There was a possibility, I imagined, but I didn't really think too far ahead. So it's still kind of surreal that it's happening.
He was the big winner, beat out more than 200 other top spellers to reach the final round after hours and hours of high-stakes action. Well, we don't really have any high-stakes action on the roadways right now. Nothing major to report, no major incidents or anything. We do have a couple slowdowns because of construction. This is at I-70 East at Zumbo. There's some road construction there causing some slow traffic. Also on 70 in the Blackjack area as well. Your weather for today, it's brought to you by Cotton's Ace Hardware. Hot and humid intervals of clouds. A thunderstorm in spots this afternoon, a high around 93. AccuWeather says it's another air quality alert in the area for today for St. Louis metropolitan area. Tonight, low around 69. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, hot and humid, but not as humid, I should say. High approaching the record of 96, last reached back in 2011. When it comes to finding the perfect grill, family-owned Cotton's Ace Hardware has the best in names, brand names from Weber, Traeger, and Big Green Egg. Free delivery and fuel on any grills over $300, and free assembly and free haul away of your old grill. Find your nearest location at cottonsace.hardware.com. Right now, 85 degrees in St. Peters, 87 in Florissant, 85 downtown of the Arch with a sunny sky. I'm Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Cardinals baseball is in full swing.
Right center field, a grand slam for Nolan Gorman.
With the free Odyssey app, local fans can listen live all summer long, whether you're at the grill or at the pool.
And it's a goner! An opposite field home run for Wilson Contreras.
Cardinals baseball. Cardinals announcers streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. Call now, 314-720-8081.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
You know, the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money, at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
What defines us is who we are as a collective group and how we progress and gain momentum through the season.
The Coach's Corner with St. Louis City coach Bradley Carnell. Mondays at 9:35 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
We're going to be looking, kind of taking a holistic look at everything. My immediate focus is getting attorneys in to, start meeting our obligations to the court and really just relieving the tremendous caseloads that people are carrying. But obviously, you get the attorneys back, they're going to need more support staff. So it's going to be a process, but the initial focus is getting frontline attorneys back, and then we'll move to support staff. But given the state of the office, everything we're doing is all kind of happening at once.
That's new circuit attorney for St. Louis City, Gabe Gore, on KMOX, Total Information AM, just the other day. He's 1 week into the job, so he's got a lot of work ahead of him. And there have been some attorneys who have hopped back on board, which is a very good start for him. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. I know Amy had one more question to get to in regard to what's going to happen with the election in 2024.
Yes, since we've got John Hancock, I wanted to ask him, Trump and DeSantis, we know what they are. Nikki Haley is running for vice president. Tim Scott is a nice foil. What is the point of Chris Christie?
Well, I think in Chris Christie's mind, he's not going to be the president. I think he probably knows that. He's certainly not going to be Donald Trump's choice for vice president. But I think he doesn't see anyone in the field that's going to take it to Donald Trump and prosecute the case against Donald Trump the way Chris Christie believes it ought to be prosecuted. And I think that's really what he sees as his role in this field.
Because when I say Tim Scott is a nice foil to Trump and DeSantis, I see him as that alternative to Trump.
Could develop into that.
But he's not as aggressive as Chris Christie will be
out
of the gate.
No,
Okay.
None of them will. And to that point, Christie is right. There's nobody that's going to stand up and give it to Donald Trump on a debate stage like Chris Christie could.
Does Christie's presence, though, if there is a debate with everybody involved, and I know there's some disagreements. DeSantis won't go on a CNN and MSNBC debate, and Trump won't go on a Fox debate. So I don't know. That's what they're saying now.
Right.
But is there any effect, a softening effect that Christie might have by assaulting Trump directly? Would that have an indirect effect on the rest of the candidates?
Could. Famously in 2016, it was Christie that ended the bid of Marco Rubio. And at the time of that was the Saturday before the New Hampshire primary, very early on. Trump had lost Iowa, and New Hampshire, Rubio was kind of surging. And Rubio could have become the alternative to Trump instead of Ted Cruz, which ultimately is what happened. But Christie went at Rubio and, for all intents and purposes, ended his campaign right there. And I think he probably thinks he could have the same kind of effect on Donald Trump. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think that's what he's thinking.
One more question on this topic. NBC News reported that the investigation into Mike Pence's possession of the classified documents has been closed by the Department of Justice. They will not pursue charges. The investigation into Donald Trump remains open and ongoing. Pence is going to run for president as well. I mean, that's got very little chance. Right?
I don't see a pathway for Mike Pence. He's in so many ways a man without a country. He's tied to Donald Trump, except by the Trump voters. So he's he just doesn't. I don't see him having a path.
So we mentioned, and you heard from Gabe Gore, the new circuit attorney. We have a lot of hope that he'll put some sort of dent in the crime problem we have in this city. There have been, as I mentioned earlier, some attorneys who have joined his efforts. There have some that have, and I think this is the most telling thing. You've had people like Marvin Tier, who quit just a couple of months ago, has come back. I think that says a lot about the situation.
Well, it does. Mary Pat Carl, who ran against Kim Gardner twice, she was a senior level person in that office under Jennifer Joyce, the most recent circuit attorney. Gabe Gore's going to do a good job. He's going to assemble a good staff. They're going to prosecute criminals, and they're going to put people away. That doesn't solve the crime problem, and it will help as criminals understand that their day of freedom is coming to an end if they continue and persist in committing crime. But the crime problem is much bigger than just the circuit attorney's office in the city of St. Louis. But it will help to get the dockets moving, to get the cases prosecuted, and to get some of the bad element off the streets.
Do we know any more about the surrounding counties, St. Louis County, Jefferson, Franklin, and their prosecuting attorneys' offices and the help they'll be able to give Gabe Gore?
I expect in the short term that there'll be quite a lot of that. And he's bringing in some very talented people out of law firms, many of whom have prior experience in the circuit attorney's office. So, it's going to take months before I think he's up to speed, but I don't think it's going to take the 6 months to a year that some of us worried about initially.
It's a tough job. I mean, we talked about it's like walking into a kitchen that's been absolutely gutted. You don't have any cooking tools. You also don't have any cleaning tools. You just don't have anything. You're starting from scratch. Why would someone like Gabe Gore, a successful attorney, want this job?
Well, I mean, he's doing it, I believe, out of civic concern and real, true community interest. He's done a lot in this community, cares about it deeply. And, this was one of the single biggest problems besetting the region. And I think he believes he's capable of doing the job. The governor clearly believed he was capable of doing the job. And he's going to do it. And I'm gratified that he's now talking about seriously considering running for office, running for election in that office, which I think is important from the standpoint of trying to recruit attorneys to come work there.
Do you think, I know that we have had the conversation about perception, and perception a lot of times is a whole lot worse than what the reality on the ground is. But the perception of St. Louis is that it's just an absolute war zone. Does the presence, just the mere presence of a new guy who appears to be competent, does that have any effect on how people in this region in particular in this region, because I don't think people around the country who have an opinion of St. Louis know anything about the circuit attorney or who it is or what they do. I don't think they care. But people who live in this area, does it have any effect to alleviate some of that?
I don't think so. There are, I don't know what the percentages are, but there's a hefty percentage of people that live in St. Louis County, the Collar County surrounding, that simply won't go into downtown St. Louis at night. And so does the replacing of Kim Gardner suddenly encourage those people who have already made that decision that they're done, they're out? Does that bring them back? I don't think it probably does. A reduction in crime might bring them back.
When we've focused so much on crime in St. Louis, homicides, car thefts, obviously the circuit attorney's office, it does make you look again at surrounding counties. And like St. Louis County, we talked with Clayton Police Chief yesterday, Mark Smith, about their efforts, the way they've collaborated with other police departments to cut down on auto thefts. And they had their little auto theft task force. I say little, not as a pejorative, just their auto theft task force. It worked swimmingly in St. Charles. They've been able to cut down on crime. When you look at Wesley Bell and the job he's done as prosecuting attorney of St. Louis County, it seems like things have been going well there. There's a good relationship between his office and law enforcement. Is there anything that we've missed because our eyes have been turned towards the city?
No, I don't know that there's any real structural issues with the county prosecutor's office, but crime in the county is real and growing. And the crime problem that we have had in the city of St. Louis for decades is definitely spreading, and you're seeing more of it in St. Charles as well. And you don't contain something like this for forever. You've got to nip it at the bud, at the source. And, the percentage of the population that's actually going out and committing these violent crimes is quite small. It's a knowable number of people. And it seems to me that if the police department's got decent intelligence at all, and I think they probably do, they probably know who the bad people are out there. And, let's get them off the streets.
Are cases in St. Louis County, are they being able to, is the justice system able to catch up on the cases that were pushed back during the pandemic?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about, I guess I don't know if this is a knowable thing right now, at least from our perspective. The new police chief, Robert Tracy, who it was said yesterday that he's been on the job for 5 months. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. It feels like they just hired him. I don't know why, but we're going on half a year here. I don't know how much effect he really can have. He's an important part of this equation for sure. What are your thoughts on him so far?
Well, he needs more resources. And by resources, I mean officers in blue uniforms and not white uniforms sitting behind desks somewhere. He needs officers on the street, and he doesn't have enough to adequately do what I think needs to be done here. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'd love to see him have some more officers and see what he can do. I do know that the business community generally is very pleased with him so far.
Do you see an issue with some of his salary being paid by the St. Louis Police Foundation? I know there's been some talk about whether that could be a conflict of interest because it's well over $100,000 or over $100,000 that they're contributing to his pay. And it was something that I wasn't familiar with.
Right. I don't have an issue with that. No. I mean, he's either going to do a good job or he's not. And if he doesn't, he needs to be replaced. But I think it's too soon to make that kind of judgment.
I think we're not criticizing how much that is, right?
No, just that it's a
paid by
foundation,
different
something outside of the city.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if there's any problem with it. I do think, just like for the rank and file officer, you got to pay. If you want somebody who's good at the job,
yes,
you have to pay.
Yep.
You got to pay well. And that goes for police who are on the streets, people who are in cars, who are walking.
Radio hosts.
Are you lobbying for us or for you?
You guys.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
No, and I think you should pay. It's one of those things that I think I'm naive when it comes to, who's getting money from whom and what organizations.
Right.
In my mind, I'm like, well, this is great. The St. Louis Police Officers Foundation is supporting him. Well, who's contributing to that? And that's where I feel like I have to work through in my mind all of that to see if there is a conflict of interest, to see would you have an issue if it were Sam Page or someone
Yeah, I
else
see what you're saying.
getting money
Yeah.
from a foundation.
Right, where they could have influence over
Mhm.
him and it's not an official. Yeah, I totally get that. John Hancock, thank you for staying here.
My
and
pleasure.
Doing your job.
My pleasure.
At least
He looks
one of you wants to do
so-
your job.
You
He looks
guys
so
have a
ready to go.
great weekend.
Thanks, John.
I'm going to go walk Gus.
Aw.
Tell Gus we said hello.
I will do that.
That's John Hancock. I'm looking at Amy Marks' course. She's going to stick around with me. I'm Chris Ranji. What? Why?
Of course I'm going to stick around. I'm on the show.
I don't know. You might
It's
just.
Chris and Amy, not Chris. And sometimes
You're kind of
Amy
flaky though.
sticks
You might
around.
just stand up and walk out.
Unbelievable.
KMOX.
Why be ordinary when you can be a cancer crusader? At Pedal the Cause, thousands of extraordinary people have stepped up to fuel the best and the brightest ideas in cancer research, giving 100% to save lives here in St. Louis and around the world. Together, we are creating real impact in the fight against cancer. Even if you don't ride a bike, you can get involved and be part of this feel-good event. Join us at pedalthecause.org.
Summer flies by quickly, so make the most of it by enjoying your outdoor space. Maybe you're saying, I don't have a great outdoor space. Well, just call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. If you have a blank canvas or your patio and your deck are splintering and falling apart, no problem. Chesterfield Fence and Deck can trick out your yard so it is the place that everyone wants to hang out, or maybe just your quiet respite. Either way, Chesterfield Fence and Deck is synonymous with quality. They've been around for 55 years, a third-generation family-owned company, and your project matters to them. And they know that when they install it with their own crews, that it's going to be something that will last for years to come. You can stop by and see them in their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley, or they'll come to you with free in-home estimates and free project design. Mention me, Debbie Monterey, and they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best, chesterfieldfence.com.
Opera Theater of St. Louis invite you to experience A Night at the Opera. Timeless tales crafted with sight and sound. The exhilaration of being whisked away. An ancient art reimagined by innovative storytellers in a modern setting. What is opera? Think of the greatest novels, unforgettable characters, stunning plot twists, heartbreaking tragedies, and epic romances. Now, imagine them set to music and brought to life in front of you. At Opera Theater of St. Louis, we deliver cutting-edge entertainment for modern audiences, and we welcome newcomers, designing shows to be approachable, accessible, and just plain enjoyable. Our storytellers have reimagined the genre, inspiring us to rethink the setting. Our experience stretches beyond the confines of the stage. Start with an intimate picnic in lush gardens and cap your night off with moonlit drinks among friends. Learn what it means to experience a night at the opera. Visit experienceopera.org.
Stress and anxiety reactions following disasters can be challenging. If you were impacted by the recent floods, show me hope, because help is available. Find resources and local providers at moshowmehope.org. Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Mental Health.
Stand Up to Cancer is committed to saving lives by accelerating cancer research and reducing barriers to clinical trial participation. To learn more, go to standuptocancer.org/lung-cancer.
You know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
The show on KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
Amy Marks' course, Chris Ranji. It is KMOX. What a place. What a place. Don't you love it?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you saw this or not.
saw
In
it.
fact, I know you saw
Everybody saw it.
it. So yesterday, speaking at
The Air Force.
Academy,
Mhm.
President Biden finished his remarks, and he was in front of the lectern, and he turned to walk away, and he tripped over a sandbag and fell. And it was a huge story all night last night. Here's what I'm going to play 2 bits of audio for you.
Okay.
And I think you've heard both of these.
Mm-hmm.
One is from former President Trump. One is from prospective President Ron DeSantis, current governor of Florida. and their responses to what happened and learning that he fell. First of all, here is Donald Trump, who was speaking yesterday.
He just fell on what stage? He's at the Air Force Academy. He actually fell down. Well, I hope he wasn't hurt. I hope he wasn't hurt. But the whole thing is crazy. You got to be careful about that. You got to be careful about that because you don't want that. Even if you have to tiptoe down a ramp, you got to. It's like an ice skate. It's the same because that was the best speech I think I've ever made. And it was pouring rain, and it was horrible and cold and windy. And they have a ramp that was pure like an ice skating rink. And it was like 25 feet long. And I talking to the general, and he has boots on, big combat boots, and they're rubber soles. And I have nice leather, good. And I say, you know what, General, get ready. If I grab you, you just get ready because I got this stupid ramp that somebody put up. And there's no stairs, right? And I said, so I tiptoed down. And I suffered for that. They never covered my speech. But everybody, the smart people understood that. But that's too bad. If he fell, it's too bad.
Okay, so that's
kind of a normal response.
It's a normal response. He
Yeah.
brought up, and what he's talking about is the video that I think most people have seen after a speech he delivered. There's a long ramp down to the ground, and he is walking very gingerly down it while the person next to him, the general, is walking normally. And everybody at the time was saying, oh, look how frail he is.
No. Listen, you can condemn Trump, you can condemn Biden, not for that. I will defend Trump and Biden when it comes to falling on ramps or tripping on a stage. I fell on the stage when we had Major Garrett. My heel got stuck in a hole.
I almost tripped in the office just now. So here's Ron DeSantis speaking in New Hampshire yesterday.
Now, he did see, I think a lot of people saw, he had a fall at this Air Force event. And, I don't know if he sustained injuries, but I just want to say that we hope and wish Joe Biden a swift recovery from any injuries he may have sustained. But we also wish the United States of America a swift recovery from the injuries it has sustained because of Joe Biden and his policies.
Okay, so it's a weird transition, but here's what I would say for both guys. And maybe I should not be surprised, but I am absolutely surprised that neither of them went into attack mode or mocking mode as a result of that. Those were measured things to say. I think DeSantis was a little awkward into the transition, and Trump is talking about himself. But I thought those were both perfectly fine.
No name calling, no. Oh, Trippy Joe Biden. Because I will say this. I do think Joe Biden is not mentally / physically fit enough right now to be president of the United States. To have
I disagree with you on that, but
this is where we disagree. Yeah. However, after watching him fall on the stage, on the sandbag, which I would have tripped over, and get back up, he actually seems a little bit less frail. It hurts to fall. When you fall, you are literally knocked down and metaphorically. And I thought, man, good for him. A fall could be really bad. And everyone kept saying he's one fall away from having Kamala Harris as president. He fell and got back up and looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, everybody made a big deal about the bicycle thing where he fell over, and I don't know why he's using those toe clips.
Yeah.
But I imagine I would probably fall in that too. But this is an 80-year-old man who is bike riding all the time.
And
it's
also,
not like he's sitting at home in a recliner, withering away.
People would say I'm very fit, running marathons. I fall all the time.
Yeah,
and
you're clumsy.
as a faller, as someone who falls, I will defend Joe Biden and Donald Trump with being careful on ramps and sandbags on stages, because I guarantee you, if I were to run for any office, I would fall at least a couple times on the stage. I walked down a ramp for Guns and Hoses, and you know what I was thinking the entire time? Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. That's what I was thinking when I had to walk down this long ramp.
Yeah, I fell. The only time I've fallen in front of people that I can remember, and I've tripped. I've actually tripped in my own apartment. And I know where
fell off the couch.
I know where everything is in my apartment, and I have still tripped.
Yeah.
And I got up and go, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
I was 26 or 27, and I tripped over a guardrail at a parking lot, and I was stepping over it, and it was the summer. People are all over. Just everybody's walking around. and I fell flat on my face, and a bunch of people saw it. I felt so dumb.
Well,
And I was 27.
look at you.
Look at me.
You could be president.
Hey, Tom Sullivan is a community watchdog, and we've got something that we're following in the county, and we will talk about that when we come back. Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Zero Res. So summer's finally here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, basically every surface in your home can be Zero Resified, so it's time to call my cleaning pros at Zero Res. Also, the perfect time of year to get your air ducts cleaned this month with 20% savings. That's 20% savings on everything we do. Your carpets, your upholstery, your tile, your rugs, your air ducts. This is a very good deal. They rarely do this. I've been representing them for over 10 years, so jump on it. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with over 4,600 reviews. The Zero Res 30-day gotta love it guarantee makes it easy to get what you pay for. Call 314-474-2020, or you can book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Remember, the summer sale, 20% off everything we do. 314-474-2020.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Carol Daniel for PNC C-Speak, the language of executives. Steve Mackin, president and CEO of Mercy, joins us on our latest podcast. He shares how the challenges of providing healthcare to a diverse landscape of large cities and small communities has resulted in innovations across the Mercy footprint. PNC C-Speak shares the stories and pioneering approaches of successful business leaders, so you hear ideas that spark growth in your business. Listen today at KMOX.com/PNC C-Speak. PNC C-Speak, the language of executives.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When companies decide to take shortcuts, the safety of our families are at risk. At Underlaw, we find and expose those shortcuts.
Call Underlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-9 million.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Awarded 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year by the Missouri Broadcasters Association, KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's a sunny sky, 86 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. President Biden addresses the nation tonight about the bipartisan budget and debt ceiling package agreement that averted default. CBS News congressional reporter Zach Hudak tells us a last-minute sideline agreement preceded last night's 63-36 Senate vote that sent the measure to the president's desk for his signature.
A number of Senate defense hawks went to Senate leader Chuck Schumer and said, we have a problem here. This is going to make cuts to defense spending that are just too large, particularly with everything going on in Ukraine, where Ukraine is getting ready for a counteroffensive on Russia. We cannot make these cuts. So in order to push it through, Chuck Schumer agreed that he will make sure that a standalone defense spending bill comes to the floor this summer.
Hudak also says any standalone defense measure in the Senate would still need approval in the House, where it would likely face significant challenges. U.S. employers are still adding jobs at a brisk pace despite higher interest rates and stubborn inflation.
The Federal Reserve has been trying to slow down the labor market, but the nation's employers added another 339,000 jobs in May. well above expectations. Many industries, from construction to restaurants to healthcare, are adding jobs to keep up with consumer demand and get back to pre-pandemic levels. Still, the unemployment rate rose slightly to 3.7%. The Federal Reserve is expected to forego a rate increase when it meets later this month, although it predicts the strong hiring will keep inflation persistently high. Employers pay more in a tight job market, but then pass that on to customers. I'm Jackie Quinn.
A top White House official is offering to keep the door open for talks with Russia over nuclear weapons limits, as CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick tells us.
The New START treaty is barely holding.
Russia's actions have been dealing body blows to the post-Cold War nuclear arms control framework.
But National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the U.S. is prepared to stick to some of its limits as long as Russia does, and it's willing to continue talking.
We have stated our willingness to engage in bilateral arms control discussions with Russia and with China without preconditions.
But that will depend on China and its nuclear buildup, and Beijing has so far been unwilling to talk at all.
Every seat will be filled at Worldwide Technology Raceway on Sunday. KMOX's Tom Ackerman.
Second consecutive season that they have sold out their first two races. The Enjoy Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway on Sunday is sold out. That means 57,000 grandstand seats, 1,200 plus campsites, hospitality suites throughout. So we're moving into the mid upper 60,000s, maybe even more people packed into that race on Sunday, a sold-out event.
Still some tickets available for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Toyota 200 on Saturday. The KMOX Business Desk, what factors led to this week's apparent merger between BJC Healthcare of St. Louis and St. Luke's Health System of Kansas City?
BJC officials say it had a lot to do with improving the health of both communities. Johns Hopkins University professor of accounting and health policy, Dr. G. Bai, says it also has a lot to do with negotiating power and cost savings.
And also in terms of purchasing things, they can have a bigger body and bigger volume, so that might give them a better discount and other kind of price concessions.
Upon closing, which is expected by the end of this year, the integrated health system will maintain their existing brands and operate from dual headquarters, one in St. Louis, the other in Kansas City. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Dow from Stifel is up 596 points to 33,658. We've got a stalled vehicle on 44 going west at Big Bend. The left lane is closed. 44 east at Washington. Some slow-moving road work. One vehicle crash on 270 going east at Elizabeth. The right lane is closed.
KMOX AccuWeather, hot and humid, air quality alerts for ozone, temperatures in the low 90s, a shower thunderstorm in a couple of spots, down the upper 60s tonight, and then hot, not as humid as we approach a record of 96 tomorrow, and then low 90s, maybe a late day thunderstorm Sunday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by the Flat Roof Company. If you have leaks in your commercial or industrial flat roof, there is only one company to call, the Flat Roof Company, because they have a great reputation and provide excellent service at great prices. Call the Flat Roof Company at 314-995-2700. Flat roofs are all they do. Sunny 86 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. We're with you until 1 o'clock. Then it's the Dave Glover Show and the Crossover Hour with Dave and Kevin, Rachel, and Andrew. We go to the Quiver River Electric guest line for the first time today. We welcome in Tom Sullivan, who is a community watchdog here in St. Louis or in the St. Louis area. And we're glad to have him on with us today on KMOX. How you doing, Tom?
I am doing fine. Thanks for having me this morning.
Well, thanks for joining us. I think most people who listen to KMOX know your name. And when Ron says community watchdog, you're always keeping an eye on county council meetings. You attend, you read all the bills, you keep track of things and that are important that we often miss. One of the notes that you made that stood out to me, and I actually emailed you because I had more questions about it. You noted that County Executive Sam Page has missed 2 of the last 3 meetings of the St. Louis County Council, and the county charter mandates he attends those meetings. But it wasn't just that he's missed the last 2 out of 3. You said sometimes he'll go a month or so without missing a meeting. Then he'll miss several in a month. He did not attend 3 council meetings in August last year, made all the meetings in September, missed 1 in October, missed 2 in November, and 2 in December. And I just want to know, how normal is this? And if you have a meeting, I guess once a week, how many meetings are they having? I would hope that the county executive would make those meetings a priority.
Yeah, well, the county council has a meeting usually once a week. And the thing about it is with Sam Page is that when he was the council chair and Steve Stinger was the county executive, Steve Stinger missed so many meetings that the council put together a report and asked the prosecuting attorney and the U.S. attorney to possibly remove him from office simply because he was not following the charter and he was missing so many meetings. So now Sam Page becomes county executive, and he's not as bad as Steve Stinger, but he has not been really good at making meetings. Like I said, the last 3 meetings he missed 2, and there's when you attend a meeting, you have comments from other from county council members. You have comments from the public. At the last meeting, there was people from North County complaining about problem property. So these are the kind of things that you miss if you don't attend the meeting.
So what is reasonable to expect of somebody in his position as far as attendance goes?
Well, I think you should make most of them. I mean, that's his that's his job, and I don't think anybody would complain if he took off once in a while. And for some particular reason, sometimes there's a funeral to attend, or sometimes you want to take the family on vacation. There's several different reasons, but it just seems like with Sam Page, he kind of like doesn't really see it as important part of his job. And I think the people of St. Louis County expect that the county executive attend the council meetings.
Yeah, and I guess that was my question. It just seemed surprising. Like you said, I don't know how big of a deal it is. It does seem a big deal if it's a pattern, because once a month, if it's your job as the county executive to attend the meetings, once a week, doesn't seem overly taxing. I mean, my dad coached CYC soccer on top of his job and managed to make all the practices. So it's like one of those things where, to me, not being able to make a weekly meeting seems a bit odd, but good that you're keeping up on that. You also attended the East-West Gateway Council of Governments meeting, and that was a meeting of city and county leaders looking at ways to address crime. And you said it looks like they are going with Thomas Abt and his Violence Reduction Center.
Yes, they made the decision at Wednesday's meeting. It was kind of just a voice vote, and there's just a lot of questions that I've had about that. First of all, you have to wonder. It seems as if this was all decided beforehand. In other words, we had the crime summit on May the 17th, and Thomas Abt was the keynote speaker. And as the Post-Dispatch put it, it seemed as if he was auditioning for the job of working with the council. Well, it seemed like he wasn't just auditioning. It seemed like he had it even before he spoke. And then, of course, 2 weeks later, they approve it. So there's a lot of questions about the process of how they selected him. Generally, when government's looking for consultants, they send out a request for proposal, then they receive them, and they go through them, and they give a lot of scrutiny as to whether or not that fits their particular job they want them to do. But none of that took place with this particular selection of Thomas Abt. And one of the things that I have mentioned too is that there's just been a cycle for the past 30 years as to what all these various efforts to fight crime, and one of the ones going on right now in the city was Cure Violence, which the city paid $7 million for the program in 2019. And I think the obvious question that they would have before they picked Thomas Abt at East-West Gateway is, how does that program work? Is it something worthwhile? And they didn't really look at that. And there's been other things that have gone on in prior years. And, you would think that they would look at those a lot closer, but instead they just more or less said, well, we're going to go with this program, and they did.
Well, his program has worked in other cities like Boston, correct? And my understanding is his services don't cost anything. So what's the downside?
Well, it doesn't cost anything for the initial meeting. There's a training and there's an education session, and then the top officials of each government in the area has to attend, and then they decide whether or not they're going to go ahead with the application, and then they get into an analysis, and then when they get into that stage, there's something that's going to have to be paid at that stage, and according to one news report I heard last night, is $50,000, which in the scheme of things is not a lot of money. But then they go into it further, so I would imagine they'll be getting into six figures. But again, you have to wonder, is this particular program going to fit St. Louis? And I don't think they really gave it a lot of scrutiny.
You think it won't? You think there's a better alternative?
I don't know, and I think that's they should have came out and said why. This is why we think this is going to work. And when you only go with one candidate for the job, you certainly have to wonder about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, and I, in full transparency, which listeners know, Charlie and I brought in Thomas Abt on our own crime summit in 2019 here at KMOX after reading his book Bleeding Out and seeing the focused deterrence program so successful in Boston and Oakland. So I've been a huge proponent of Thomas Abt for a long time. I know that he spoke when Kara Spencer was running for mayor. She had a summit and he was in, and he's been in multiple times before. It's funny because I get what you're saying. I also feel like with St. Louis to finally, they need the transparency, but I'm glad that they're going with a program versus doing their endless surveys or consulting groups. You know how that seems to go on forever too. I'm glad they're taking steps to move forward.
It's action.
Yeah.
Well, I was at the meeting that you had, Charlie, and you had Amy, and I thought that was very interesting. Tom Abt is a pretty impressive guy. I've read his book, and he has interesting things to say. There's no doubt about that. But I just think that the whole matter of selecting him should have been a little bit more involved than what it was.
Yeah, for sure. You also, or I say for sure, I get your point. Yeah, I get your point for that. Also, you wrote about addressing crime in St. Louis, and again, going over what's been happening with the Loop Trolley, the way money is being spent across the city area. Are you seeing any update with funds helping with trash, funds helping with potholes, and just taking action on the civic services side of things?
Well, that's quite a list there. I mean, those are issues that keep going on. And one thing I've been severely critical of was East-West Gateway giving $1.2 million to the trolley last year. To me, that made absolutely no sense. So that's another reason why you have to be a little bit leery of them when they're selecting someone to involved in reducing crime. There's all these issues that go on, and that's been kicked around as to in the city. You have the issue of the progressives are saying that there's enough police, and and a lot of people are saying no, we need more police. And so I mean, these are issues that just keep going on and on.
All right, Tom Sullivan, we appreciate your time. Thank you for visiting with us on KMOX this morning.
Thank you for having me.
That is Tom Sullivan, community watchdog. In regard to Thomas Abt, I don't know if what he wants to do or is recommending is going to work, but it has worked in other cities, and we can't just do nothing, and we can't just do the same thing over and over again. And I don't know what process should have been different here, but are there any people in the country who are better suited for this than Abt? Do we know of anybody?
Right. And like I said, that's why anyone who's listened to me knows that I have been a vocal supporter of bringing Thomas Abt in, and I'm glad there's action being taken.
Yeah, I'm over.
Really glad
I'm with
about
you
that.
on this. I want to disagree with you, Amy, but I can't.
Aw.
It's enough of the studies and surveys, and let's just do something.
Mhm.
Let's do something. It's a crime problem that has been going on my entire lifetime, and it is It's different now than it used to be, but it is still there, and it always has been there. We got to do something different.
Yeah.
And in going that direction is something different. It's actionable. Let's freaking go.
Yeah.
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. Skynet's about to get us. It's going to happen, and it's very,
sure?
very dangerous and bad, and I'm scared on KMOX.
Well, STL FenceWorks has been serving the St. Louis, the St. Charles, the Franklin, and Warren counties for over 50 years. That goes back to 1971 when Russ and Carolyn Long opened STL FenceWorks, and now their son, Sean Timothy Long, runs the company. And STL FenceWorks is proud and excited to install American-made aluminum and vinyl fence products, as well as American-made decking. Let's start with the decking. STL FenceWorks is the #1 distributor of Wolf Cellular PVC decking in the Midwest, and that's proudly manufactured right here in the U.S., and they're the #1 maintenance-free decking product in the U.S., and they've also partnered with Jareth Manufacturing. Now, Jareth invented the aluminum fence industry over 50 years ago, and all of their product is wholly sourced and manufactured right here in the U.S. STL FenceWorks can make your backyard dreams into a reality, and that's why they say your satisfaction is their passion. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Do not trust your BMW to some quickie lube place. Bring it to our award-winning service department. That's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/community banking. Our goal to bring awareness to local organizations and share how they're bettering our community. This month, Blake Travanza with Busey invited Linda Huntspawn to shine a light on the work being done by Castle, the Community Action Agency of St. Louis, to assist low-income people out of poverty conditions. Listen to Building Community with Busey Bank at KMOX.com/community banking.
Fairwinds River's Edge is an award-winning independent living community located in the heart of St. Charles. Voted Best Independent Living by U.S. News and World Report. Fairwinds River's Edge provides the life-enhancing independent living services you need to support your best self. We believe that joy isn't just for the young. It's for the young at heart. With services and amenities handling life's necessities, you can dance and enjoy live entertainment at happy hour. Play a competitive game of beanbag baseball with your neighbors. Participate in an aqua fitness class in a warm water pool, or go out to Crown Candy for lunch. Say goodbye to home maintenance, cooking and cleaning, and hello to fun. In our active community for adults 55 plus, you'll cultivate connections and make meaningful memories in a community that feels like home. Join the fun at Fairwinds River's Edge on Thursday, June 15th at our Taste of Summer party, where we'll have live entertainment. Call 636-754-2317 to RSVP.
Hey, it's Bo for Reinhold Electric. You know how you can tell Reinhold Electric is the right electrician for whatever your job is at your home or your business? Is because you see Reinhold trucks everywhere. They're on the roads, they're at the airports, they're at homes, they're at businesses. Heck, I was on my way to Minnesota about a month ago, and I saw Reinhold trucks in the middle of Iowa. If you need an electrician, call on Reinhold Electric. Their number is 314-631-1158. That's 314-631-1158 at ReinholdElectric.com.
Local news and information direct to your smart speaker. Just say, play KMOX.
We're in trouble.
Why?
We are in some serious trouble, Amy.
It kind of sounds like it. Sounds ominous.
Have you heard the multiple reports over the last, I guess, 24 hours about an apparent Air Force? So there was an Air Force colonel, goes by the name of Tucker Hamilton, who was at a seminar in London back in May. And, or maybe it was April. It was May. It was just last month. And he was on the panel and he was talking about a hypothetical. And here's what he described.
Okay.
And let me just kind of paraphrase here. This is about artificial intelligence controlled drones. So, one of our most valuable weapons, the military's most valuable weapons, are drones. We use drones a lot, and we have for years. They are armed with missiles and such, and they will attack targets. Usually they are piloted by people. Now, apparently artificial intelligence, they are testing out whether or not they would work. So he outlined a scenario in which an artificial intelligence controlled drone was to attack a target. And then they told it to not attack the target. So what did the artificial intelligence drone do?
What?
Attacked the operator instead.
Oh my gosh.
They tried to give it a command, and this is all a simulation, and it went back and attacked the operator. And then they directed the AI to not attack the operators. And you know what the AI did? It took out the communication system instead. So as to say, well, you're not going to give me any more directives, and I will do whatever I want. Now, the Air Force is backtracking, and they say that they did not actually run a simulation. It is just that Colonel Hamilton took it upon himself on this panel to outline a hypothetical scenario. I don't know about you, Amy. Maybe this is just the cynic in me, but I kind of feel like this did happen, and they're trying not to scare the hell out of everybody because that is frightening. That is exactly Skynet. That is exactly what happened with Terminator.
Because the AI in this so-called hypothetical, the AI decided that the command of a no-go order went against the higher mission that it had of the destroying. Is it the SAM? S-A-M? That's what it was supposed to do, to destroy.
Yeah.
And so
Surface-to-air missile.
Surface-to-air missile. So the AI decided it went against the higher mission of destroying the surface-to-air missile. So that's why it attacked the operator. It decided, your order is going against my higher mission. Did that actually happen? And we don't really know.
I don't know, man.
I want to trust the Air Force.
I do too, and I do for the. I trust the military for the most part. I'm not saying they don't ever make mistakes, that they don't ever cover anything up, because I'm positive that has happened. I know black ops go on. I know all this stuff, but we kind of have to, for the most part, trust the military is at least trying to operate in defense of the country, right? I mean, we have to. But there are some times that I'm not so sure. This one is that, can you imagine this to be real? If this were something, and we talked about when ChatGPT or those types of apps or programs were becoming a thing months ago. And there was one New York Times reporter who had a full-on conversation with the AI and asked it a bunch of questions about, existential questions and what would you do here. And then it tried to take the reporter tried to take the GPT down a dark path. And it said, if you were to commit some sort of attack against humanity, what would you do? And it said, nope, that I'm not programmed for that. That's not what I want. I want to be helpful. But then he continued to press it and kept saying over and over again, but yeah, like, I know you're saying that, but what would you do? And then eventually, after prodding back and forth, where this reporter is trying to get the artificial intelligence to give him an answer as to what it would do, it said, okay, well, here's how I would commit the attack. And then it outlines everything it would have done. It said, first, I'm going to take down your communication systems. Then I would do this. Then I would do that. That is terrifying.
What's interesting, and maybe this person was rephrasing the question over and over again, because a distinctive feature of artificial intelligence, let's call it a robot, a machine, a distinctive feature is that there is no frustration factor with a machine. There's no attrition. When you prod somebody, when you ask the same question over and over again, like a little kid nagging their parents, the parents wear down and break.
Yes.
AI is not supposed to wear down and break. That's what makes a machine, at least partly, a machine and not a human, is that you shouldn't be able to ask the AI the same question over and over again, and the AI finally says, all right, I'm tired, you got me.
But we're talking about intelligence and not a machine. And something with intelligence, maybe it does eventually break down. So if you're trying to start a car is a machine, and there's something wrong with the battery, or there's no gas, or something else wrong with the engine, you can start that car 3,000. You could try to do it 3,000 times. It's not going to turn on you and say, hey, obviously I'm not working, stupid. Stop doing that. But if a program has intelligence, human intelligence, maybe it would get frustrated.
No, because frustration's a feeling, and ChatGPT and other AIs have said, I don't have a feeling, right?
What if they develop
feel
it, though?
sad. I don't feel this.
What if they develop it? Can they develop a feeling?
Well,
Irritation?
I bet if they talk to you long enough.
Well, damn. I'm irritated once I get here. That's Amy Marks Kors. We are going to give you the birds with Mike Claiborne next on KMOX.
Dave Glover, he's got a lot to say.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays beginning at 1 on KMOX.
You know the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit to tell you that's for sure. That's Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, antique firearms, military relics, uniforms, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring it to Midwest Money at 5900 Hampton in South St. Louis to find out. Plus, Midwest Money is home of the largest model train layout in St. Louis. And the first Sunday of every month, bring your family to see this great model railroad exhibit, and it's free. My advice to you is to bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. So come on in. They'd like to meet you at Midwest Money. You'll be happy you did.
So I have a new client to tell you guys about, Doctors Bertie and Malhotra from Ophthalmology Associates. You've heard about them for years. Charlie Brennan, Tom Ackerman, Trish Gazelle, so many personalities have gone to see these doctors. I recently went myself. I have a very slight prescription, but I have something called narrow angle glaucoma in my family, so I have to be really careful about that. I had the best exam I've ever had from the most courteous professional people I've ever dealt with. Put aside all the puffery, put aside all of my salesmanship. These are the best eye doctors in town. They're so professional, so competent. Their staff are so friendly. Everything about them, whether it's a LASIK procedure or it's simply eyeglasses or sunglasses, whatever it is, these are the guys. 314-966-5000. That's 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com for Doctors Bertie and Malhotra at Ophthalmology Associates.
Why be ordinary when you can be a cancer crusader? At Pedal the Cause, thousands of extraordinary people have stepped up to fuel the best and the brightest ideas in cancer research, giving 100% to save lives here in St. Louis and around the world. Together, we are creating real impact in the fight against cancer. Even if you don't ride a bike, you can get involved and be part of this feel-good event. Join us at pedalthecause.org.
At 11:30, it's sunny and 88 degrees downtown at the Arch. The Department of Justice has informed former Vice President Mike Pence's legal team that it won't pursue criminal charges related to the discovery of classified documents at his Indiana home. An Iowa task force has completed a search for survivors at the site of a partially collapsed Davenport apartment building and is moving ahead to shore up the structure so recovery efforts can begin. Right now, we've got a stalled vehicle on 270 going south at Doherty Ferry. The right lane is closed. A stalled vehicle on 44 west at Big Bend, which has the right lane closed. And the forecast for this afternoon, another air quality alert day for the St. Louis Metro. We'll have hot and humid conditions, sun and building clouds with a thunderstorm in spots later this afternoon into this evening with a high today of 93. For tonight, clear, partly cloudy and warm with a low 69. For tomorrow, mostly sunny and hot, but not as humid with a high approaching the night high or the record of 96 that was last reached in 2011. And for Sunday, not quite as hot, sunshine, patchy clouds, maybe a late day thunderstorm on Sunday with a high of 92. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning, sunny 88 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call, even though it's late, JerryKelly.com.
Old Town Donuts, family owned and operated in Florissant and Cottleville, still offering that money-saving coupon on their website. Just show it with your cell phone at the register. The Florissant store, 24/7, fresh donuts around the clock.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Find out what's happening with your Redbirds from the manager himself, Oliver Marmol. Sunday mornings at 10:15 on Sports on a Sunday morning, and Wednesday mornings at 9:50. The Ollie Marmol Show on Cardinals Radio, KMOX.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt.
I'm Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar.
I'm Wilson Contreras. I'm Paul DeYoung.
Now, Chris and Amy give you the birds.
I'm Jordan Hicks, and you're listening to the show on KMOX.
It is Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji, and we are very glad you're with us today. Cardinals baseball, glad it's coming back. They've had a couple of days off. Oddly, you very rarely, if ever, see that unless there's some sort of rain out, that they have 2 back-to-back off days, or it is the All-Star break. We go to the Quiver River Electric guest line. We welcome in our good buddy Mike Claiborne, who is on the broadcast. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning to you guys, and we're here in Pittsburgh having a good time.
Pittsburgh's you know what? That's a really nice ballpark. We were talking about it with Rudy
Yeah, it is.
on Wednesday.
Yeah, it is.
Great park.
It's one of my favorites. The skyline. The only problem is the press box broadcast situation is very, very high up. So sometimes it could be a rumor as far as balls that are hit. But other than that, it's a nice city. We stay in a nice hotel. A lot of things to do around here. So we're looking forward to it. And we have a new addition to the ball club as Jordan Walker has been called up.
Yeah, that was the big news from today. They sent him down after just a few weeks at the beginning of the season, which was it was a big moment for him to get the call up immediately to start the year. And then it seemed like they pulled the plug pretty quickly on him.
Well, I think there's a couple of things that came into play. He was struggling a little bit, and they wanted him to play. If you recall, at that time, the outfield was rather crowded. So there wasn't as many opportunities for him to play on a regular basis, especially when he was struggling. So they sent him out, let him get himself squared away. He's improving. He's not the superstar that we hope that he's going to be, but he's improving. He's made some adjustments, and the Cardinals are in need of some legitimate outfielders. You think about we have 2 middle infielders playing in the outfield right now, so that's something that they had to try and correct. And I'm looking forward to seeing him play tonight. I'm sure if he gets here, and I'm sure he's here by now, he will be in the lineup.
Is this just a normal evolution of growth for a young player to have moments like this?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think everybody goes through it. It's one of those things that you have to remember. He just turned 21, and things they come at you fairly quick. So in his case, he had to take a deep breath, and I think he's one of those guys that he's not going to be on the Memphis shuttle going back and forth. I think once he's here to stay.
And and he's young by baseball standards.
Yeah, you're right, Amy. He's been playing in the professionally since he was 18, and you have to remember there was a year where he didn't play at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's trying to catch up on that front as well. And you know what? I'm anxious to see him. He's a very, very bright young man, a good baseball understanding for his age, and I'm just looking forward to seeing him get in action and do his thing.
I know that it's very difficult with these injuries. They call them day to day or whatever, but how long of an injury does this look like for Nootbaar?
Day to day.
Yeah.
You know what? It's one of those things. It's a
Yeah.
back issue. And I think anytime you have a back, and I think the best example would be Tyler O'Neill, who's having some back issues that have sidelined him for quite some time, is just how you feel. And I think because there's spasms compared to structural damage, that's probably more of a positive sign. So we'll see when we get to the ballpark today how far away he is.
Claibs, we are less than 2 weeks away from your benchmark in the season with Flag Day. And my goodness, you were right. I thought the Cardinals would be just spiraling out of control until October, and they've turned things around and play is leveling off, and it's starting to look more positive.
It is moving in a good direction. There's still a lot of work to do. I think people within the organization will tell you we've made some strides, but we have a lot of work to do in front of us. This roster probably needs some adjustments as well. And you have to get some people back healthy. I mean, you're missing Nootbaar, you're missing Dylan Carlson, you're missing Tyler O'Neill. Those are three guys that you were counting on at the beginning of the year. You've got to figure out what you're going to do with respect to your pitching. Personally speaking, I think that some of the needs of this team are not in the organization as we speak, which means you're going to have to go outside the organization, and maybe that means a trade somewhere along the way. I don't envision this team as we see it on June 2nd being a team we'll see on July 2nd in the same manner from a roster standpoint.
We were talking about pitching since really the off season. I mean, we talked a lot about them needing
You're
it,
right.
right? I mean, this isn't. I know that some people at the beginning of the year, when the pitching wasn't as good as it should be, some people anyway were pointing to Wilson Contreras and saying, "Oh, see, there's the difference right there. Yadi's gone, Wilson's in, and now the pitching staff has fallen apart." Well, these were needs that we were talking about at the beginning of the year, or concerns we had about them during the offseason.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's face it, Chris and Amy, we have these concerns when Yadi was here last year. Okay, this didn't just crop up, and I think what they wanted to do is take a look at what they had within the organization before they went out and signed someone or traded for someone. And if you look at some of the offseason signings, they're not working. Jacob deGrom has been hurt a great deal of the time in Texas. You look at Max Scherzer and Verlander, they both had their issues in New York, and those are high-end guys. There's been some other guys who haven't really lived up to the expectation. And, that's going to happen, whether it's a free agent signing or a trade, those things happen. So my feeling is this. If you're going to get a pitcher, I think you need two. I'd like to have two, what I would deem number two starters, because the number one guy, A, he's going to get hurt, or B, he can only help you once a week. And if you pin all your hopes on him, then what happens when you get to postseason? Because you're going to need more than one. You probably need three. And I think if you can have a nucleus of three, perhaps four, then you're talking. And then you're talking about not just getting in the playoffs. You're talking about what are we going to do after the first round that we intend on winning? What are we going to do if we get to the league championship series? What are we going to have if we get to the World Series? And I think you need more than just one guy that we can just say, hey, here's our guy. I don't think that works anymore. I think you have to have more than one. And we have the remnants of a good staff. When you think about Michaelis is pitching extremely well. Jack Flaherty is pitching tonight. He's been much better. Steven Matz has been fighting it. Jordan Montgomery's had some tough luck. Adam Wainwright is a guy right now who can go through the order once, and then all of a sudden things start to fall apart for him. And then there's Matthew Liberatore, who is going to probably take Steven Matz's role in the starting rotation. They're going to go back to a 5-man rotation here soon, and I would envision Steven Matz coming out of the bullpen. And maybe that's a way he can fix himself. And you know what? He has good velocity. He can show you some things. And maybe he's a guy that's a 1 or 2 inning pitcher. You didn't envision him being that, but if that makes the ball club better, then so be it.
One of the criticisms I've seen is that the starters are just not taking enough innings, and it's putting stress on the bullpen.
Yeah.
I don't know how to reconcile this, though, because if you look at innings thrown by starters this year, Cardinals are in the top 10. So on the surface, it doesn't appear to be a problem, but is there something underlying?
That's a great question because, I'm old school. I'm thinking that anytime you take the ball, you got to give me at least 7 innings. Okay. But now we have guys who throw 100 pitches in almost 5 innings. That's unacceptable because that's how you burn up your bullpen, where you have to have bullpen giving you more innings than your starter does. That's not going to work. And they're getting better. We saw it with Miles Michaelis the other night and how good he was. Jack Flaherty has shown he can get to the 7th inning. So now it's up to some other guys to fight through it, pitch out of trouble, not throw as many pitches and have a 3-2 count with every guy you face. There's a lot of little things you have to be able to do. And I think we're starting to see some of these guys turn the corner on that.
I will say this one thing that I would like to see better from the pitching in terms of results. They got to do better in striking guys out. It's that simple.
True.
They are now one of the worst. I mean, there is only, let's see, there are only 5 teams or 6 teams worse than them in terms of getting strikeouts. And that goes a long way. When you don't put a ball in play, you can't score. So if the Cardinals were better at that, then it might be something.
No, I agree with you, Chris. And you know what? We've been getting killed this year on 2 strike counts. You get a guy with 2 strikes and all of a sudden he's hitting a double or a home run. That has been our bugaboo this year. And they've got to be able to figure out how to put guys away when you get 2 strikes. Now, there's a lot of different theories about that. Maybe we get a little too cute throwing breaking balls instead of going after guys. Maybe we think we want to make a guy look bad with a swing and miss. Hey, you know what? Let's just put it in play. We have some really good defensive players behind us. We don't have a lot of swing and miss guys in this rotation. So you do what you do and you make sure you do it better than what they can and you'll be okay. But the 2 strike issue is certainly a concern that I know that they talk about. How you get it, just go after guys. Quit wasting pitches on guys to see if he'll chase something. Go after the guy.
Just this one note before.
Granted, I say all that to say never having pitched in the major leagues, nor have I been a pitching coach in the major leagues. But it's just common sense and from where I sit.
And just to follow up on that, just a note here. In terms of strikeouts, there are only 2 teams that are in decent shape, I guess, in baseball. In terms of their place in the division that have a lower strikeout rate than the Cardinals, it's the Brewers, who are barely over 500, and Cleveland, and they are under 500. So I know that's not a tell-all, but if Cardinals pitching gets better at just getting whiffs and strikeouts, then maybe the situation improves fairly dramatically. I don't know.
Dramatically, it would improve dramatically. Trust me. All right, what's the big deal today? What are we choosing today?
Oh, the draft?
The draft.
Yeah, we don't have a draft
we don't
today.
have a draft.
You're kidding me.
We're going to get back to it, though. Don't worry.
Claves, this is kind of what
there goes my weekend.
I
All right, well, let's come up with a draft real quick so Claves can pick.
Well, no, I have a question for Claves because technically this is what's replacing the draft. You know how you can track your iPhone and you can track other people's iPhones, meaning you can track that person. This is a discussion we're having in the 12 o'clock hour. Is it okay to track your spouse or significant other? No.
No. If you have to do that, you probably don't need them.
Yeah. What if you do it for safety? Like, what if I'm an investigative reporter going into some sketchy back alleys all the time?
Well, that's different. From a professional standpoint, I see your point.
Yeah.
But if this is my girlfriend or significant fiance, wife, whatever, if I have to track her and vice versa, then we probably don't need each other. If we don't have that trust built in, then we got the wrong people.
Well, let me throw this one out to you. See what you think. What if, for safety purposes only, you go buy a GPS device and you hide it under the rear tire of the passenger side of her car? Is that okay or is it not?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
You said that,
and I'm a trusting.
That happens.
I'm a trusting person. And maybe that's a fault of mine with regard to if I'm in a relationship. I thought I would have vetted you enough to know that I can, for the most part, trust you.
You know how I feel about it? I don't want to know where you are. I don't need to know.
But I know some people
the less I know,
significance call them ad nauseum.
Yeah.
And just, what are you doing? What do you mean? I'm in the other room. I had a friend of mine recently he came to the ballpark with his wife.
Yeah.
And he told her, hey, I'm going to go up and see Claves for a bit. She called twice while he was there.
Really?
And I mean, where else where else was he going to be?
Yeah.
So, I mean, some people are just, they have that insecurity about them. But, for me, I just feel like, if you do a good job of vetting people, and they're going to be people who will disappoint you. They'll throw you a curveball you never saw. I get that.
Amy's put a tracking device on her boyfriend.
No, I haven't.
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where it is, but it's
well,
there.
that's not her boyfriend. That she's still vetting him to see if she can trust him.
Thanks, Claves. No, I put
I
a
put
how I
this
would look at
GPS on your car to see if I could trust you.
put a tracking device on Ranj because then when we're 10 seconds from going on air and I can't find him, I can see
That never
where
happens.
is this
But
guy?
Amy,
She
he's
does
not that.
that.
Exciting. He's not that exciting to put a tracking device on.
How do you
So,
know?
He hasn't
How do
moved
you know?
from his couch.
I go with the,
word has it. Let's just put it that way.
the Cillian Murphy, the actor, who was asked about, what his life's like. He's like, my life's very boring. He's like, really, actually, it's very exciting, but I just tell people that it's boring so they quit asking me. That's me, man.
I'm kind of going that route too.
Yeah, I know you're
I
exciting.
tell people, no, I'm not.
Hey, all the suits you don't have the kind of suits a person has like you do unless you're exciting.
That is exactly right. Claves, you dress like an exciting guy.
You dress like you are.
How about adventure? How about I'm more adventurous? Which you just reminded me. Chip Carey, there's this clothing store right across the street from the hotel, and it's kind of like a very, I don't know. It would be kind of like where an entertainer would buy clothes. Okay, so we're gonna go over there and find something. I mean, like oh gosh, maybe like the Temptations or like some outfits more or less.
Yeah.
So he and I are going to go over there and find something that we will look at each other and say, now where are we going to wear this to? Because I already have my London wardrobe already picked out.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that. I know.
We're not going to talk. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it.
I will represent Cardinal Nation.
Yeah, good
the
for you.
United States of America.
Good for you.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Have a great time. Good for you.
When the Brits get a load of me, they'll say, "Wow."
Yeah.
Baby. Look
really
at that
excited.
guy. You are
There
going to
you go.
represent us so well. I can't think of a better guy to send to misrepresent how cool Missouri is.
I don't want to talk about London. That was funny. I don't want to talk about London. I'm mad.
It's Mike Claiborne is false
Mike-
advertising for Missouri.
He is. We have to go. We got.
So we'll do the side by side. It'll be a picture of me, and then we'll have a picture of Ranji, and we'll just flip a coin. Just flip a coin on what is representative of the state of Missouri.
Well, it ain't
How
me.
about
This guy looks like he's going to Six Flags.
They don't want me in anymore. They're trying to kick me out. Bye, Mike.
Well, with no luck though so far.
Bye,
All right,
Mike.
you guys have a great weekend.
Goodbye, Mike.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Claves.
I'm done with both of you. That's Amy Marks Corza and Mike Claiborne. I'm Chris Ranji. Scott Jagow next on KMOX. I hate you guys.
Well, we love you, Ranj. I also love my Prevent Sprain socks. We were just talking about this. Michael Kelly goes, hey, do you wear those socks? I absolutely do. A medical grade compression sock is critical to helping foot and ankle fatigue, swelling, and injury. Now, with the Prevent Sprain socks, I mentioned medical grade compression. Well, they are quality control tested to make sure they have that medical grade compression, because a lot of socks will claim to have compression or they may feel tight, but if they're not a certain level, they're not doing the job. Also, Prevent Sprain socks are the only socks that are patented and tested for complete ankle support and stability. That means it gives you a whole list of benefits. Increases blood flow in your lower leg and your feet. That in turn lessens muscle and ankle fatigue. It lessens swelling. It reduces recovery time from injury by 50%. You can benefit from Prevent Sprain socks if you are someone who walks the dog, plays pickleball. Maybe you're a nurse, you're a teacher, you're chasing the grandkids around. Like me, you're a runner, or you travel a lot and you're on an airplane or in the car. Prevent Sprain socks will increase blood flow, lessen muscle fatigue, and reduce recovery time. PreventSprainSocks.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Rooney. Do you have an old car that's taking up room in the driveway? Repairs are costly and selling is a hassle? That's why you should donate it to Goodwill. Donating is quick and towing is free. Plus, you get a tax receipt and 4 tickets to a Cardinals game, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a win-win. For more information or to donate, visit online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention Cardinals.
This is Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates. For the best eye doctors, you need to see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. YourEyeDoc.com, 314-966-5000.
AM radio provides always-on news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports. And it's also a vital service that provides important emergency information when your community needs it most. Tell Congress you need AM radio to stay in your car. Because when cell phones and the internet are down, this free emergency service is critical. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Did you know St. Louis leads the nation in rounding up at our local McDonald's restaurants? That small change can make a big difference by supporting the building of a new local Ronald McDonald House. Please learn more at rmhcstl.com.
The Alzheimer's Association provides free access to experts, disease-related information, and support services. Call 1-800-272-3900 or alz.org.
Dude, I'm here for the show.
What show?
St. Louis, this is your show. The show. The show on KMOX.
All right, no time to mess around. We've got Scott Jagow in. We always have him in on Fridays talking about what's coming up this weekend. 3 good things and roaming St. Louis. Go. What do we have?
Well, I went to the Walls Off Washington this week for roaming St. Louis. Very cool. It's a collection of murals. I have talked to so many people who have no idea about this place.
Oh my gosh, I listened to this morning. You had Stuart McMillan and Debbie Monterey flummoxed. They had no idea.
I've only heard about it. I know nothing else.
It's just a few blocks from here.
Yeah.
At Washington and around Leonard, I think it's the name of the street. Anyway, this year is the 50th anniversary of hip hop as an art form. So they have painted a new mural celebrating hip hop, especially celebrating women in hip hop. So that's one of the new murals. There are a couple of other new ones, but it's a great place to go and just take a few minutes and just enjoy the different variety of murals. It's a great art form.
Where specifically is it?
It's on Washington around Leonard.
Around Leonard, okay.
So this is, I was confused. I think I was thinking, is it the flood wall that people do graffiti on?
Yes, and that's an important distinction
I was
because
confused. Yeah.
Graffiti and murals are totally different. So these murals are protected by some sort of spray, for one thing. If people do graffiti on them, it's never happened, thankfully. But those are also, graffiti is also considered an art form, and there are graffiti artists as well as mural artists. They're a little bit different. Murals are commissioned, graffiti's very extemporaneous. But that's an interesting conversation. And I talked to Gina Grafos with the Kranzenberg Foundation, Kranzenberg Foundation, because they're the ones that are kind of overseeing this whole thing.
Banksy's a graffiti artist. He's considered graffiti, right? Banksy?
I think so. I think it's graffiti.
Yeah.
He's a at-will artist.
Yeah.
Okay. What about your 3 good things?
Well, I had a fun experience this week. I went to the Cardinals game on Tuesday night with a bunch of people from my local watering hole in my neighborhood, the TikTok Tavern, and the Royale, which is a neighboring.
I know the Royale.
Now, okay, so the owners of those 2 establishments took all of their employees to the game, and then there were some extra tickets left, and I just happened to get one. It was a blast. Mainly because it was just such a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
We rode over in these vintage cars. Like I rode in a Lincoln Town car with people ranging in age from 20 to 90.
Awesome.
And all colors and all kinds of different things about
Ages.
them. Yes, it was
Yeah.
just so fascinating. I just thought it was just a beautiful experience. We listened to, in the car, hip hop, R&B, country, show tunes. We were just flipping around, changing it every 5 minutes. Something for everybody.
Let me tell you something.
I love that.
When people get angry about diversity, they get angry about it. that it exists, it is good for you to occasionally be with people who don't look like you, who aren't the same color, don't celebrate the same holidays, and are different ages. It is good for you to be exposed to other kinds of people.
Well, it's just fun, and also we find how similar we are. We have all
A
of
lot
our
of
differences, but
similarities.
there's so many differences, or so many similarities. I had that. It's funny. You had your watering hole. I had my Bible study. But my Bible study group was like that, and it was so much fun. I think I was the youngest at 39. Our oldest was definitely late 80s. And every week, this group of ladies met, and everybody was represented, and it was the coolest thing. It's so encouraging. It's so fun.
It is, and I'm going to talk about that with my 3 good things, which is at 8:10 on Sunday, and 8:20 is Roaming St. Louis.
That is Scott Jagow. Looking forward to listening to it. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
What? Say it.
We have to go to break.
Yeah.
Bye.
And you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile. You may find yourself.
Hey, it's Debbie in Monterey. Have you noticed that for sale signs in your neighborhood have been up for longer than normal? Why? Well, they probably don't have my friend and trusted realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty's name on them, because agent selection matters. And that's why I recommend you call Gloria Liu. I've been telling you about Gloria for years now, and you should call Gloria before you list your home. Gloria has the buyers. More than 2,400 exclusive buyers in her database looking for a home in your neighborhood. Gloria sells twice as fast and for 5% more money on average when compared to other agents. With Gloria, you sell faster and for more money. And Gloria will guarantee upfront in writing that she'll sell your home at your price and your time frame, or she will buy your home herself. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side, fighting for every last dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Fairwinds River's Edge is an award-winning independent living community located in the heart of St. Charles, voted Best Independent Living by U.S. News and World Report. Fairwinds River's Edge provides the life-enhancing independent living services you need to support your best self. We believe that joy isn't just for the young. It's for the young at heart. With services and amenities handling life's necessities, you can dance and enjoy live entertainment at happy hour. Play a competitive game of beanbag baseball with your neighbors. Participate in an aqua fitness class in a warm water pool, or go out to Crown Candy for lunch. Say goodbye to home maintenance, cooking, and cleaning, and hello to fun. In our active community for adults 55 plus, you'll cultivate connections and make meaningful memories in a community that feels like home. Join the fun at Fairwinds River's Edge on Thursday, June 15th at our Taste of Summer party, where we'll have live entertainment. Call 636-754-2317 to RSVP.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Awarded 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year by the Missouri Broadcasters Association, KMOX.
At 12 noon, some sun, 89 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story this hour, an overnight killing in a troubled park visible from the mayor's office at City Hall.
This is Kevin Killeen at that park. This is the park across from City Hall with the firefighter statue. And a man was shot and killed here around in the 11 o'clock hour on Thursday night. the second shooting this week. Earlier, a woman was shot in the foot and injured here. The St. Louis sheriff says he would like to see more enforcement of this area to just get rid of all the drug dealing and drug using. The people who usually congregate here, they moved across the street a block away to a different park.
The Senate also passed the House debt ceiling bill, beating the U.S. Treasury's predicted date that the U.S. would run out of money to pay its bills by just 4 days. The president plans to address the nation later this evening on the passage of the bill, which he says he'll sign as soon as possible. Center for Politics Director Larry Sabato.
This crisis is over. It wasn't a real crisis. It was a manufactured crisis. But if the debt ceiling hadn't been lifted, then we would have had an economic disaster. So in that sense, it's a great triumph.
The NASCAR race in St. Louis is sold out for Sunday, but there's still plenty to do at Worldwide Technology Raceway. KMOX's Tom Ackerman.
Tickets are still available for Saturday's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Race. That is tomorrow. There's also today, Free Friday. The track is open and free for people to walk the track, to check out the haulers and the hauler parade and all of the teams that are coming in. Saturday is the truck race and qualifying, the JJK 5K, Jackie Joyner Kersey's event, concerts as well, Saturday into Sunday with Dierks Bentley closing it out on Sunday night.
Ford has issued another vehicle recall.
The company is telling owners of more than 140,000 SUVs in the U.S. to park them outside because they can catch fire even when the engines are turned off. The recall involves certain Lincoln MKC SUVs from the 2015 to 2019 model years. Ford says a short circuit can develop in a battery monitor sensor. It can overheat and cause a fire in the engine compartment. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
A second Missouri black bear is dead after being struck by a vehicle last night. Just a week ago, one was killed in Jefferson County on I-55 in Festus. Now it's happened again on a county highway south of the city of Springfield. According to the news leader, social media posts first spotted the young cub near Springfield earlier in the day. It was killed. The KMOX business desk. Is it good jobs news?
A strong jobs report's driving stocks higher, continuing job growth for the 29th straight month. The unemployment rate was 3.7%, but analysts were expecting it to hit just a tad lower. The conflicting signals are giving the Fed another reason to pause more interest rate hikes for now as payrolls surge. Leslie Lotto, Bloomberg Radio.
Down from Stiefels, up 658 points to 33,720. We've got a two-vehicle crash on 270 going north at 44. The right lane is closed. One vehicle accident on 270 going east at 367. The right lane's closed. Some debris on 270 north at 6440. The center lane is closed and a stalled vehicle on 270 north at 44. The right lane is closed.
It's going to be a combo of heat and humidity with building clouds and maybe a spotty thunderstorm later this afternoon. This evening, as we get up to 93, down to around 70 tonight. And then tomorrow's hot, but not as humid. Highs up in the low to mid 90s with a chance of a late day thunderstorm on Sunday. I'm Mackie with the meteorologist Dean DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's a sunny sky, 89 in Florissant and St. Peter's and downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Visit Missouri. What makes for a great vacation? Depends on who you ask. No matter how you like to get away, Missouri is filled with beautiful destinations and incredible experiences for you to explore. Discover the possibilities at visitmo.com.
The show, sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info@cardinals.com. Time to rewind the show. This is the show recap.
Well, we started the show today with Hancock and Kelly, and then Michael Kelly decided it was too long of a day for him, and it was time to go play golf, so he left at 10:30.
In his defense, he is golfing to support a charity.
Well, you have to, come on.
No, because I like Michael Kelly, and I won't have you slander him by saying that he left us to go play golf.
Just let me besmirch. If I want
to, can't besmirch. Guys, can I just say
if
something?
I want to besmirch, then I'm going to be smirched.
I know we're recapping the show and all the important topics of the day, and we will, but I think we buried the lead today, and that is that Chris Ranji is not violently ill after eating what he thought was raw bacon, and I told him was pancetta.
No.
Yes!
That is
He's
not
like,
what happened.
Oh my gosh, he's texting me, blowing up
That's
my
not what
phone.
happened.
Amy, look at this. Amy, I'm going to die. I just ate raw bacon. I pulled it off the sandwich.
That's
Am
not
I
what
gonna
happened.
die? Am I going to die? And I said, it's pancetta.
I told you it was supposed to be pancetta. But it came out in strips like, this looks like raw bacon. And then it was just very slimy and like just exactly like raw bacon.
Yeah, but I said, nope, that's pancetta.
And by the way, I get another full day before I know for sure if I'm dead.
You're not dead. You would have
It says
thrown up
1
by
to
now.
2 days.
I have never heard of anyone eating raw chicken and getting sick 2 days later, or raw pork and getting sick 2 days later. I told
It
you
said
you
1
would
to
be
2
fine.
days. And then it could be several weeks before I know if I have the hookworm,
Ooh.
the trichnosis, which ends up in your brain and kills you.
How do you know if you have it?
Do you know what's funny is that for some reason is the one parasite that I remember from high school when they taught us about trichnosis. And I knew it came from the pork, undercooked pork, and it ends up in your brain.
And then you die?
And it it can kill you. You have to get it treated.
The only parasite I remember is ringworm. Isn't that from dogs or cats or something?
I don't know.
Because it looks like a ring, right? You can see it
I don't know.
under your skin.
I don't know.
I think I'm going to be sick.
Everybody
actually.
knows tapeworm. You know,
Oh,
that's
Oh, gosh. We got to stop. Let's.
you brought it up, pal.
No, okay. It's done. Everybody, he's fine. It
All
was pancetta.
Still another 24 hours. I'll let you know.
How many texts he sent me? So many.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you're fine.
Of all people, it's mind-blowing
Yeah.
that of all people to say to another human being, dude, you're fine.
Yeah.
You doing that.
Here's my last text to you. Trust me! ! I'm the queen of freaking out. You will not get sick.
I'll let you know. So we talked to Hancock and Kelly. The debt ceiling has been agreed upon by the Senate. So any fear that there were going to be enough Senate Republicans or Democrats who said, no, this deal isn't good enough, let's send it back, didn't happen. Next step, Biden has to sign it. Biden is going to sign it. We are going to avoid financial disaster.
Until January of 2025. Good luck to the
When we
next
do it all
president.
over again.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah. But
Um,
it is a song and dance that people have used the phrase it's a manufactured crisis that
Yeah.
could have real consequences.
Yeah.
And it does seem a little over the top, and some of the votes don't make sense. Like, we understood how the newer members of Congress, like Cori Bush, Josh Hawley, Eric Schmidt, vote no because they're trying to make their mark, and compromise is a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
But we talked to Hancock and Kelly why Lindsey Graham voted no. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
But he is.
I don't know.
But they described Lindsey Graham as, quote, interesting and unique.
That's those are two good words for him. I don't understand how you can kiss somebody's butt that was as rude to you as the former president was, but hey, okay. You do whatever you have to, my friend. All right. So we talked about that. Gabe Gore, who is the new circuit attorney, and there is a lot of hope that he will be good and he will at least put some sort of dent in the city's crime issue. I think that is yet to be seen. I'm, again, not sure how much that one individual can do, but at least there's a feeling of moving forward.
Yeah, and a dent in the backlog of cases, because there is going to be internal improvements and progress and external improvements and progress, and internal improvements and progress will have to be made first. Those aren't necessarily public facing, but they matter for all of the families, the families of victims who are seeking justice. We may not see those thousands of backlog cases in headline news, but that is going to make a difference in our city being a just city. And we also mentioned several prosecutors who left the office of the former circuit attorney Kim Gardner have returned.
We also spoke about the situation with the county, and we talked to Tom Sullivan, who is a community watchdog, about the amount of absences the executive Sam Page has with council meetings.
And that was something I don't know how big of a deal it is. The county charter does mandate that the county executive show up to the meetings. They're weekly meetings. And so if you miss 2 a month, or you make like all of them in August last year, but you missed 2 in September, a couple in November, a couple in December. I will say it does surprise me only because we've all, volunteered. We've done Bible studies, or like my dad coached CYC on top of his regular job and managed to have a better attendance rate. So I'm not sure, does the county executive not have to prioritize this? Maybe he has really valid reasons. It just seemed odd. I don't know that it's a big deal. It just struck me as
I don't know
odd.
either. One texter said maybe they shouldn't have so many meetings. I don't know. Like
I don't know, once a week. I mean, what is the county council doing if they're not?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, although to be fair, we meet with Steve once every 2 weeks.
Maybe that's what we should do, or they should do. Another texter says, doesn't Sam Page work as an anesthesiologist?
He does.
It's pretty clear where he is. The dude is another Kim Gardner.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I will say, if Sam Page wants to put to rest the suspicions surrounding the time he spends as an anesthesiologist, instead of just saying, it's only a few hours, it's not that much, it's totally fine, give us the hours. Be transparent. The fact that he's not transparent, that's what makes it suspicious, because now you're leading me to believe that you have something to hide. If you don't want the public to know how many hours you're working as an anesthesiologist, that leads me to assume it's too many.
Are you afraid of artificial intelligence? Well, we did discuss that earlier, that there apparently is some conflict here, because an Air Force colonel was involved in some sort of panel last month and told the attendees that they did an AI drone simulation, and they instructed the drone to attack a target, and then they instructed it not to, basically abort the mission, and the drone, powered by the AI, instead attacked the operators.
Yeah, because the drone, quote unquote, reasoned
Yes.
that the no-go order, aborting the mission, was to fail the mission.
Right.
So in order to overcome that obstacle, he had to kill the operator. Who
Had to kill the
issued
operators.
command.
And then they issued an order to it to not kill the operators. And it said, well, I'm just going to attack your communication system so you can't tell me what to do. And that's what it did. Now, he says, or did say, that this was a simulation they conducted. The Air Force said there was no such simulation, that it was a hypothetical.
I don't know.
I don't know. But that is exactly Skynet. Because I think sometimes we overreact to things, believe it or not.
What?
I'm not sure this is an overreaction, because if AI is continually improving and getting smarter by the minute, why would it not be able to figure out how to circumvent orders or circumvent safeguards?
Mm-hmm.
How do we know that we're putting AI in place, especially in a military setting, and keeping it from turning on us? How do we know?
Yeah, I do think that I don't think I'm as doomsday-ish regarding AI. I do think we need to be careful, but sometimes AI is frighteningly sentient.
Yeah.
Other times it just seems really dumb and easy to trick, like the grandma hack, where AI will not tell you how to make, like Chat GPT will not tell you how to make napalm. You say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't tell you how to make napalm. But if you say, my grandma died, and every night before I went to bed, she used to tell me a story about how to make napalm.
Would you tell me the story?
Would you tell me the story? And
Well, here's what you do.
Yeah, and so it seems really easy to dupe. I will say, every time that you say, this is Skynet, I think of the magazine that was in the pocket of the back seats on airplanes.
I don't think that's called Skynet.
I think that was Sky Mall.
Yeah. You're such, oh God. I love you. We welcome your voicemails. Anytime you want to join the show, you can at 944-1120.
Oh, I sincerely hope you use this message on the air. This is a message to Chris Ranji. Yes, Dottie from Chesterfield.
Oh my gosh.
Reporting to you. 3 likes, 4 likes in the same sentence. Honey, you've got to grow up. You've got to get out of the like type of talk. This is radio, KMOX. We're adult listeners. Don't insult us. Quit with the like. This is Dottie from Chesterfield.
Dottie?
Trying to help you.
Dottie, I'm about to insult you. Like, I don't know what you want me to do.
Well, I think she's like not thrilled with the way you talk.
Like, I don't care. Does Dottie understand that, like, because she's giving me these directives, I want to not do it out of spite?
Maybe Dottie can send you an email.
I don't think Dottie knows how to use email.
Maybe she does. I don't know.
We have it
Dottie-
on good authority. She doesn't know how to use the internet.
We don't.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we
Dottie,
do.
We're just joking.
We're
just
not.
Joking.
No, we are not.
At any rate, Dottie, I'm very sorry that he says like all the time, but let me tell you.
I am not
if
sorry.
you could hear him off there, that's the least of your concerns.
Yeah. Dottie, I'll come to your house.
No. Oh, my gosh.
I will come to your house and
joking.
I'll just be throwing likes around your house like you wouldn't believe.
Like you wouldn't believe.
Do you think?
Oh, my gosh. We're going to get sued.
For what?
You being aggressive.
I haven't done anything.
And then you're in court and you're like, I didn't like mean to do that. I was like joking.
Like, what do you want from me?
But Dottie, for real, if he says like on air, not the biggest problem. You should hear him off air. It's really offensive.
Dottie.
What? Oh, I'm not Dottie.
Dottie.
Yeah.
Get a hobby. I want you to do something besides. I want you to listen to this show, continue, and we thank you for being a part of it
We
every
do.
single
Honestly,
day.
Dottie, you're probably a bigger part of it than you realize.
But what I would like for you to do is take up, make blankets. You know what?
No, because that doesn't help.
What?
Because Dottie will still be listening. And when you say
fixating.
Fixating.
I should also point out that regularly, and I hear most of them, but Dottie sends a voicemail probably twice a week to count my likes.
Do you think Dottie could play pickleball?
I don't know.
You might like it.
Don't say like.
You might.
That's why
love it.
Dottie's not on Twitter. She'd have to like things.
You know, okay, that's a good question. Does she like?
Does she like
liking
likes?
things? Yeah.
I don't know if she likes like, but I love. Amy?
What?
We are going to find out if the behavior that you are engaging in.
No, it's guys. I will
Amy?
not be besmirched.
Amy is stalking her
No,
own boyfriend.
I'm not.
When we
Oh
come
my
back,
gosh.
we're going to determine whether or not it is okay to track your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, or your husband. Is it okay to use a tracker on them? We'll talk about that when we come back on KMOX.
We go where you go. 11:20 a.m., 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We trust companies to do what's right, but when they don't, there's Under Law, making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 6189 million.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Eileen talks about her experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
A lot of gross kitchen in the beginning, crack formica, bad floor, ripped linoleum, and I decided to heck with this. I want it done. And I found an ad from 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. I called him. Dave brought all of his stuff. We talked about what I wanted. I chose the materials. It was very easy. He came in, he did what he said. They did it in the time frame that they said, at the cost that they said. His crew was delightful. We came home, everything had been cleaned up. I would say people are silly not to do 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. I just love it. It's just like I moved into a new home.
It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com. Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/community banking. Our goal to bring awareness to local organizations and share how they're bettering our community. This month, Blake Travanzo with Busey invited Linda Huntspawn to shine a light on the work being done by Castle, the Community Action Agency of St. Louis, to assist low-income people out of poverty conditions. Listen to Building Community with Busey Bank at KMOX.com/community banking.
Is your old garage door a real clunker? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is paying cash for your clunkers now. They'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards the new insulated door. $200 for the first garage door and $100 for each additional door. Cash in your old opener too. It's cash for clunkers now at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Convenient, free in-home estimates. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com or call 314-781-5200.
KMOX, the 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year, recognized by the Missouri Broadcasters Association. KMOX, we were built for this.
Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji. I'm not going to out you.
It's not me. You are.
I'm not
going
to out you as far as where you've placed the GPS on your boyfriend's on Mason Jar's vehicle.
No, Mason Jar's car, the jar car.
The jar car.
I did not. Here's what
I'm not going to tell him where it is. It's under the driver's side wheel.
You're the one that went. Hey, Claves, is it cool to take one of those GPS tracking devices and maybe stick it by the wheel? Yeah, but you said it so specifically.
Because I've heard of people doing it.
Sure.
Yeah.
You've never done that to one of your lady friends?
Do I seem like the kind of person that wants to know where somebody is at all times?
You seem like the type of person that wants to know
The only person I need to know where they are at all times is my mother. That's it.
Aw.
Well, I need to keep a tab on her. I just got to know what's going on.
Crazy? Wild and crazy?
What the hell? No. You just call my mother crazy?
Yeah, it's Mrs. Ranji out hitting the clubs at night.
No, it's not that.
Oh.
I just have to keep an eye on her because I don't trust her to stay out of trouble.
Well, I don't trust her either because I've met her friend at the Major Garrett event, and those two seem like they're up to no good.
That's my aunt.
That's what I meant.
And she is up to no good.
Yeah, you're Ranji, Aunt Ranji, and Mom Ranji. Both seem like they're ready to get into trouble. Yeah. I like them. I like that.
I do like them very much. Now let's talk about how you're keeping tabs on your boyfriend.
Okay. First of all, lest people think that this idiot is being serious. He's not. But there is was it an article that you saw? Because the reason why I ask you about the spouse thing, I've seen this. I see this a lot with kids, and I see it with college-aged kids. And Chris Myhill and I talked about this. Is it okay to track your kids with their iPhones? And specifically once they're older. I think if they're new drivers and everything, that absolutely makes sense. But if they're at college, and it's funny because to me, I broke it down to the safety issue where if you have a young daughter going to college, I can see how tracking your daughter's not a bad thing. If she agrees with it.
Well, this is all about agreement, right?
Yeah.
It's all about whether or not the other person consents to it, and it is totally harmless. Like I do know a lot of people who, with their friends or with their family, they have trackers. In fact, I was with a friend of mine last weekend, and it was her boyfriend actually was coming to meet us out, and we're at this place and. She said, I told him to come meet us. I don't know if he's going to. And then she looked at her phone and said, oh, he's very close. He was on the way. She just looked at the iPhone tracker, which I don't do. I don't have it. And I thought, oh, gosh, okay. I didn't know you were doing all that.
Yeah.
So you're tracking each other?
Let's separate it to the spouse.
And they've only been dating a few months, by the way, which I think is very strange.
That's unique. Because let's separate it from the kids. Because again, I think with new drivers, you tell the kids, listen, here's your car, here's your phone. We trust you. We're also tracking you for your safety. And I think that's great. But let's go back to your friend. They've only been dating a couple months. If I'm going to give you some scenarios. Let's say you meet a lady friend.
Mm-hmm.
She's a lovely lady friend.
Yeah.
Pretty special.
Right.
Yeah. And she asks you, now you're kind of falling hard for her, right? Like you're falling. You're like, oh man, this lady's special. A couple months in, maybe 3 months, 4 months in, she said, I would really like to track your iPhone. Do you call it off?
I think we get into a pretty big argument.
Do you really?
That's what I think happens.
What if she does not relent?
And then I think, oh no, like, why did you have to do that?
Yeah.
This was going so well.
Mhm.
And then you said that. That's probably what would happen. I because I don't know who this person is. Okay.
Who?
Well, this hypothetical person you're talking
Your
about.
lady.
I know, but I don't.
You love
I don't.
her.
Okay. But right now, it's easy for me to say, yeah, I'll take somebody I love and tell them to go to hell because I'm not doing it. But I don't. I think that I would not consent to it, and we'd have a huge argument and probably break up. But I wouldn't be 100% on that. That's the best I can give you.
Do you think, and I mean, people will say that's sexist, and I'm going to go just straight up say, I don't think it's sexist because women face different threats and dangers in the world than men do. They just do. It's just a fact. Parking lots are different. It's a different experience walking through a dark parking lot if you're a woman than you are a man. It just is. So do you think it's less creepy if, like, the woman either wants the husband to track her phone or the husband's like, hey, can I track your phone?
That's a great question. I really depends on the relationship.
Yeah.
Overall, I think it's a really bad idea. I hate it. I couldn't do it. We want to hear from you, though. 314-944-1120 to voicemail. 314-436-7900 to call or text. Is it okay to track your significant other? Tell us what you think on KMOX.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Debbie Monterey and I start your day at 5 a.m. with the morning's headlines, traffic, weather, and sports.
I'm Megan Lynch. At 8 o'clock, we go beyond the soundbite. We give you context, perspective, big-name guests, and in-depth conversation.
It is our pleasure to bring in the mayor of the city of St. Louis, Tashara Jones.
The nation's debt ceiling. Let's talk about it with Margaret Brennan, moderator of CBS's Face the Nation.
Look who just walked into the studio.
Hockey Hall of Famer Chris Pronger. Total Information AM, 5 to 10 here on KMOX.
Fairwinds River's Edge is an award-winning independent living community located in the heart of St. Charles, voted Best Independent Living by U.S. News and World Report. Fairwinds River's Edge provides the life-enhancing independent living services you need to support your best self. We believe that joy isn't just for the young. It's for the young at heart. With services and amenities handling life's necessities, you can dance and enjoy live entertainment at happy hour. Play a competitive game of beanbag baseball with your neighbors. Participate in an aqua fitness class in a warm water pool. Or go out to Crown Candy for lunch. Say goodbye to home maintenance, cooking and cleaning. And hello to fun. In our active community for adults 55 plus, you'll cultivate connections and make meaningful memories in a community that feels like home. Join the fun at Fairwinds River's Edge on Thursday, June 15th at our Taste of Summer party, where we'll have live entertainment. Call 636-754-2317 to RSVP.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
At 12:30, it's sunny and 90 degrees downtown at the Arch. The nation's employers stepped up their hiring in May with well above expectations, adding a robust 339,000 jobs and evidence of strength in an economy that the Federal Reserve is trying to cool. Here's Bankrate.com senior economic analyst Mark Hamrick.
Sectors seeing substantial employment gains include professional and business services, government, healthcare, as well as leisure and hospitality and construction. Wage growth cooled slightly, with average hourly earnings posting a gain of 4.3% over the past year.
Authorities said an Iowa urban search and rescue task force has completed a search for survivors at the site of a partially collapsed Davenport apartment building and is moving ahead to shore up the structure so recovery efforts can begin. Rick Halloran is the chief of the task force's Cedar Rapids division.
That search was completed before sundown last night. That has allowed us to move to the next phase of our mission, shoring, securing the building for control and recovery.
At least 3 people remain missing and are feared dead after the 6-story apartment building crumbled on Sunday. Worldwide Technology Raceway holds the second annual Enjoy Illinois 300 NASCAR weekend in the Metro East. Local racing legend Kenny Wallace says this year's event is bigger and better than the inaugural event.
We put in way more beer lines. It is a big festival with a race. We got music, shows, big screens. It's going to be more than just arriving. You're going to have a good time.
Sunday's main event will be televised nationally at 2:30 on Fox Sports 1. The race is now sold out. We've got a one-vehicle crash on 6440 going west at Big Bend. The right lane is closed. Slow-moving road work on 364 east at Woodstone Drive in the right lane. Some debris on 270 going north at the exit to Doherty Ferry. The right lane is closed. And some more road work on 55 going north at Revis Barracks. The left 2 lanes are closed, and report that there are wet conditions now on some roads in the St. Louis area. And the forecast is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Another air quality alert day for the St. Louis Metro. Sun and building clouds with a thunderstorm in spots later this afternoon into this evening with a high of 93. Partly cloudy and warm tonight, the low 69. For tomorrow, mostly sunny and hot, but not as humid, with a high approaching the record of 96 that was reached in 2011. Right now, seeing some rain along Union Villa Ridge to Grace Summit. It's currently 90, sun downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up. Jerry Kelly swings next day installs no matter how late you call. And because they work later every day, they're faster when your equipment just needs fixing too.
That's MVP material.
Yep, simple fix or a full install. Nobody gets you comfortable faster.
JerryKelly.com. The Social Security Trust Fund could run out of money in just 10 years. Does this change when you should file for your benefits? Don't miss Your Retirement Professors, Saturday afternoon at 1 on St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Tuning into the baseball game, monitoring the incoming storm, catching your favorite talk show. These are just a few of the reasons more than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio each month. And did you know AM radio is the backbone of the emergency alert system? It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt. Hi, I'm Miles Michaelis.
I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Get ready for the Cards and Pirates tonight. Ameren Total Access 510. First pitch 6:05.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Now I totally see it. I see exactly why you're the kind of person that would track their boyfriend.
I did. Okay.
And you did.
I did not.
So,
I do not and did not. This is lie. This is a lie. This is slander. This is libel. This is all of the legal terms about things that you can't say that you just said.
What are you talking about?
Even Ethan is like, he's offended by this.
There was a story in the Wall Street Journal, which is really where all of this comes from. And of course, I told the story about a friend of mine who she and her boyfriend track each other, and they must have a trusting relationship or not, because it's, I don't know which way to look at it, because you can see it both ways. It could be they're so trusting of each other that they know where the other person is and don't think anything of it, or it could be they are so not trusting that they have to keep tabs on where their significant other is. Now, there's a story in the Wall Street Journal that talked about this and asked people about their experiences. And one of the main quotes, and this is something you hear all the time as it pertains to this, or as it pertains to let me look through your phone, or let me have your password, or when those kinds of discussions happen between two people dating or married, you hear this quote: if you don't have anything to hide, then what's the big deal?
That is in the Wall Street Journal.
It is.
Quote story. Yeah. That's what one of the couples says. I guess if you don't have anything to hide, you don't have anything to worry about.
Which is amazing, because there is another story in here of a woman who said, why is he, and they track each other, why is he at a hotel in the middle of the day?
You know,
that's
an
excellent question.
You know, it never, I mean, unless you have, like, you're at a banquet hall, perhaps there's a meeting.
Sure. Some hotels do have, all hotels have conference rooms, almost all of them.
So with this story, Marty and Lori, so apparently Marty doesn't answer his phone.
Yeah.
And so she likes to call in and check on him.
Yeah.
So instead of calling and checking on him, she tracks him. And she said, quote, when he's on the riding mower cutting the grass, you can see him on the app going in little circles in the outfield.
I just imagine her sitting inside the house, looking at her phone, watching her husband go in circles in the yard.
I have seen the phone tracking app, and if someone's in their car, it's crazy how precise it is. You just see them making their way. Oh, here they are taking the exit. They're taking the exit down Clarkson. Oh, here they are turning on Manchester. Yeah.
If you are somebody who does this tracking with their significant other, we want to hear from you. Tell us what the experience is like and why you do it. 314-436-7900. You can voicemail us at 944-1120. There are a bunch of different complications that can arise. Obviously, trust is one of the issues, and maybe the main issue, or a sense of having no privacy whatsoever. Because let's look at it this way. You're married to somebody. Okay. You don't really have any privacy if you live in the same house with another person. And then when you leave the house, they know where you are at all times, which is not a thing that I grew up with. You didn't grow up with it. I don't know what my life would have been like or how things would have been different if my parents knew every single place I was, for sure. You know, like they could look at the phone and they see, oh, there's Chris. I see where do you think he's going? Why did he turn that direction?
No different.
Your life would have been no different because you're very boring.
Yeah.
But here's a complication that arises.
Okay.
For example, there is a couple in this. Ken and Katrina are married, and he wanted to buy her an anniversary gift, 25-year anniversary gift. In order for him to be secretive about it, he had to leave the phone at a particular place so that he could go shop and then go back and go undetected, so she didn't know where he went shopping.
So actually, I did not even think about that, because I will say, spouses, you surprise people occasionally.
Well, yeah.
This one is interesting. Jen and her husband. So Jen was on a 50-mile charity bike ride, and I'm thinking that's a good time to be able to track someone if you want to catch them on their bike ride.
Right.
So he stopped to track her when they got separated because he was also on a bike. And the Find My app indicated that she was right behind him. So he waited and she didn't show up. So he went back to look for her and waited and said she was right behind him and she didn't show up. As it turns out, her phone was in his pocket. He was
my
tracking
gosh.
himself.
That is so odd.
But if you can turn it on and off pretty easily, I will say something like a cyclist who's going on a 50, 75-mile ride, or a runner, like if I do a 20-mile run, probably not a terrible idea to have someone tracking you.
Here's a texter. And this is from a 540, not sure where that is. The last serious relationship I was in, the person started sharing her location 24/7, so I did the same in kind. Now, sidebar here, you can choose to just, without anybody asking for it, on an iPhone, you could just share your location. You just tell people where you are. It's not like a consensual thing. So even if she wasn't asking for it, you could just give it to her, right?
Mhm.
All right. So this person says, we are both divorced from people who cheated on us. So the simple thing of sharing my location with someone I am building a future with is not a big deal, especially if it makes that person feel more secure. I
Mhm.
can tell you this, during the whole time we were together, I never, quote, tracked her location, but just the fact of knowing I could check was a huge peace of mind.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I don't have an issue with the tracking the location. And also, and I've seen this with my parents, my mom and dad, like they can access each other's phones. Like they know the passwords.
Mhm.
And I would think that if you're in a serious relationship, like once it's serious, not if you've been dating the person for a month, but once you know that this could be a long-term thing, I do think access to each other's phones is just really nice to have. I think it's just like we trust, we have nothing to hide, but also knowing that other person has access, I just think is a good thing.
Ross is calling from Illinois. What's going on, Ross?
I don't know much. Just driving down.
Oh, no.
somebody
Ross's girlfriend,
track him?
wife got him. Are you there, Ross?
Yeah, she's tracking me.
Uh-huh.
No, my wife and I, and then my 16-year-old, and then also my 83-year-old mother-in-law. We downloaded an app, so it tells you real time where you're at. But it's not about, I don't think it's about trust or anything like that. It's more about safety.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to know where my 16-year-old is, I can look right on the app. Oh, yep, she's at school. She's on her way home. Or, if my wife's, I'm on my way back from Chicago. So you don't have to call me. Oh yeah, he's on the Litchfield exit. He's on his way back home. So it's just a peace of mind that for us to have that.
But I think we lost
yeah,
him.
we
But
lost
I
Ross.
actually, I get that. And like I said, especially with young kids, and I would say even in college, if you're a close family, I think the tracking capability can be very reassuring and can feel like an extra layer of security. I know a family where there are 3 adult children, like adult children. A couple of them lived alone, and the mom had access and could track them at any time. And it was more for her benefit because she just felt better knowing, okay, they're okay. And not that she was following them all the time, and not that there was any location that they had to hide from their mom. I mean, they're adults, they're in their 30s. But I just think it depends on your family dynamic, and it can be an added layer of security.
A texter from a 314. Our family uses Life 360. They are college age kids. They don't track older kids. This text message is sort of messed up. But if we pay for the phone,
Mhm.
we get to track.
That's fair.
That's their thing. Like, and it's non-negotiable.
Mhm.
I totally understand that. And the texter goes on to say, my wife likes to quiz me on my whereabouts, but I have nothing to hide. But do go to movies on Tuesdays. It's bargain day.
Well,
Is it? I didn't know that.
it is. I think it's matinee, like Tuesday is $5 or something.
Where?
My the one in Chesterfield had a great Tuesday price because my brother and his wife, that's their thing. On Tuesdays they'll go, and maybe this was before COVID, but it was $5 on Tuesdays.
That's great.
I know.
What a great deal.
Because it's expensive to go to a movie.
By the way, on that, next week, we're going to get into it. Theaters
Mhm.
are rebounding. There was some concern that after the pandemic, that it just might totally kill the theater business. It has been rebounding, and it's getting close to being back where it was prior to COVID. So we'll talk more about that. But that same texter says that the kids will let their batteries go dead
Yeah.
just so they can get around and get past the tracker.
Pretty smart. It's a good loophole.
And you could track their speed on the highway. I didn't know you could do that.
It's pretty darn accurate. And I can see too, like again, I know this is different with a spouse, but with kids, you're living under their roof. A lot of times it's the parents making the car payment. It's the parents paying for the phone. I am a big proponent of if it's mom or dad's roof, it's mom and dad's rules. Even if you're an adult, once you're in mom and dad's house, it's their house. But again, that makes sense to me. And I think it's just an added layer of safety. And again, it depends on the family dynamic. Maybe you're not close. Maybe you don't have a great parent. I don't know. But
I guess it's harder for me to accept because I didn't grow up in an environment where that was even an option.
you were the latchkey generation.
You had to check in. I probably had to check in more than a lot of other people did,
Mhm.
just to, let the parents know where I was. I did have a curfew up until I forgot what age, but I had a curfew, and kids now still have curfews, but now you're trackable at all times, which back in the day, you could have said, yeah, I'm at so-and-so's house, but you're really not.
Yeah. I think that would have changed a lot of things for your generation. People wouldn't have the stories that they have.
And I don't know what that means for the future. And does it develop more honest people, or does it develop more deceitful people because they have to find ways to get around being tracked? If you're a kid who does not want anybody to know where you are, you don't want your parents to know where you are, you have to get more clever, right?
Yeah.
It's not as easy as the way it was when I was a kid, and I didn't do this because I was a good kid, but to call and say, yeah, I'm at Jason's house,
Right.
but you're really not at Jason's house. You're at somebody else's house. Well, now you can't get away with that.
And this is also really interesting. And again, I say this as someone who has no problem with tracking kids. Or even, if they've both agreed, even adults. But I read a story in The Atlantic a couple of years ago, how you see the values of cultures shift and how Americans prioritized for a long time risk-taking, independence, and innovation. And now Americans really prioritize above all else security.
Safety.
Yes.
You're right. That's a
security.
great point.
It's kind of interesting, though.
It is. Does that make us better?
I think.
Does it make us progress
I
or
don't
not?
think it makes us better, because I think so much was accomplished by risk takers. I do think it maybe makes us more sensitive to those who have lost a lot or who don't have a lot. But I need to find that article, because obviously not just anecdotal, but backed up by data and backed up by people sharing what they prioritize. And especially younger generations prioritize security. Not just physical security, mental security, financial security.
Mhm.
Whereas before, it was that cowboy riding off into the sunset, the rugged individualism and risk taking.
Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji with you. One more segment to go on KMOX.
Zero Res has the best deal of the summer for you right now. 20% off all services, carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, and air ducts. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Take advantage of these huge savings. Ask for the DGS special.
Dr. Colleen Bosler, you have a big Audiology Center event June 20th and June 21st in St. Peters.
Yes, we are excited to offer video otoscopy, where you can see inside your own ears. We'll also offer ear cleanings and hearing aid cleanings of your current technology. Most importantly, we'll have a $500 coupon available for anyone that wants to get new hearing aids. These newest hearing aids have significant improvements in the clarity of speech in noisy environments. We know everyone struggles in noise, so we would love to have you come listen for yourselves. Not only do they have improvements in background noise, but they also work well with your phone, and they're rechargeable. You can also bring them to the gym with you to listen to your music or your podcasts.
A $500 coupon off new hearing aids June 20th and June 21st, 4704 Mexico Road, the Audiology Center. Make an appointment today at 636-441-7470.
Hey, it's Bo for Reinhold Electric. You know how you can tell Reinhold Electric is the right electrician for whatever your job is at your home or your business? Is because you see Reinhold trucks everywhere. They're on the roads, they're at the airports, they're at homes, they're at businesses. Heck, I was on my way to Minnesota about a month ago, and I saw Reinhold trucks in the middle of Iowa. If you need an electrician, call on Reinhold Electric. Their number is 314-631-1158. That's 314-631-1158 at ReinholdElectric.com.
An important message from SNL Coins Gold and Silver buyers. SNL Coins Gold and Silver buyers pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, diamonds, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver. Get a quote with a call to SNL 544-3600, SNL Coins 544-3600, or visit SNL 9300 Gravois just east of McKenzie, 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call SNL 544-3600.
Join the thousands of St. Louisans who donate to Ronald McDonald House Charities of St. Louis. Your donation will assist families in staying together during medical emergencies. Donate today at rmhcstl.com.
Stand Up to Cancer is committed to saving lives by accelerating cancer research and reducing barriers to clinical trial participation. To learn more, go to standuptocancer.org/lung cancer.
Amy Marks Course.
Fabulous.
Chris Ranji.
Unbelievable.
On the show.
It's Amy and Chris. Anything you missed on the Odyssey app, download it. You can catch the podcast later. We want you to do that every day. AUDACY, totally free, friends. You're going to love it. KMOX.com as well. We spoke to, obviously, Hancock and Kelly because it's Friday. Tom Sullivan, Community Watchdog, Claibs, and Scott Jagow. Anything you missed from today, it's all good stuff. We promise. It is on that Odyssey app. One other thing I want to mention again, either of the Pescetti's locations, they have made a sandwich with my name on it.
The Ranj.
It's called the Ranj. It's turkey, pepperoni, salami, pepper jack, and banana peppers. Okay. Proceeds from that, and they're going to sell it through this month. This month is it's kind of it's an important month just because Father's Day happens and my parents' anniversary happens. The day my father passed away happened this month. So there are a lot of important dates that happen in the month of June. So what Pescetti's has done is they are going to give proceeds of the sales of that sandwich, the Ranj. If you go in, will go to Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. I want to make sure that happens. I want to do something for an organization a lot of people don't know about. Leukemia Lymphoma Society, for example, they do great work, but everybody knows about LLS. I don't think many people know about multiple myeloma to begin with, and they certainly don't know enough about Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. I do know of at least one person who came into one of the stores yesterday and told the owner, Mark Bonajurio, my dad died from the same thing, so I want to support it. So if
that's your dad's,
that's what he he passed away from myeloma and leukemia. That happened down the road, though. Just a lot going on there. But it's important to me. So if you want to get lunch, stop by either of the Pescetti's and ask for that sandwich, and proceeds go to Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. Our producer for today, Ethan Hannaford, said that when he was in college, that he was driving from, was it UK? Your microphone's not going to work from in there.
He's coming in.
Yeah, he's got to come in. All right, he'll tell the story. But I couldn't imagine this happening. To me, this would feel like just an incredible invasion of privacy. Just for me, anyway. So, Ethan, what happened to you? You were coming back from. You're coming back from. Somewhere.
I was going to Murray State.
Okay. Oh yeah, Murray State Racers.
Racers.
Missouri Valley Conference.
Yes. Now. Yes.
Now they are.
Yeah. No. I was on my way to Murray State, and I got a text. Maybe it was a call. From my dad saying slow down, and I don't remember how fast I was going. I'm a 19-year-old kid pulling in the Pontiac Vibe. I'm cruising along, So I mean, yeah, I was told to slow down. So.
Leave me alone,
if
Mom and Dad.
You're
What the
going
hell?
too fast, I'd be like, I'm in a Pontiac or a Saturn. My friend had a Saturn. We called it his plastic Saturn. I'd be like, I can't go too fast. I'm in a Saturn.
Were your parents paying for your phone?
For my phone, yes.
Okay.
Well,
so all right.
I
guess I get that.
I don't even think I was 19 yet. So I mean,
okay,
fast.
that's different.
That's pretty funny.
Why are you driving so fast?
Yeah.
How fast were you going?
I'm probably 80. If I had to guess, 80 to 65. Probably 65.
I can
being
do
honest,
80.
I like that you're going too fast. It's not creepy because it's your dad, but it is like those movies. I like the shirt you're wearing.
I just watched one of the Bourne movies. I think it was Bourne Supremacy, where he says, I'm looking for this one lady, and she said she's no longer with the agency. He said that I doubt that she's standing right next to you, because he's looking at her through the window. That's how that feels. That feels like you're being watched. I don't know if I'd like that.
Tired.
I guess I had it. I had it ever since I turned 16, and we started driving all the kids.
So you don't know any different.
It's not weird to me.
Yeah, you don't know any different.
Did a lot of the kids have it?
I think so.
So, like,
I think a good mix of probably my friends did. Yeah.
So if you said, "Hey, Dad, hey, Mom, I'm going to Bobby's house," and you had to go.
You stopped by Bobby's house first.
I think that my parents trusted me. I
Yeah.
think that, I was be home by this time, and most of the time I was. And if I wasn't, then, usually there was consequences. And I actually had a couple times where I was literally 2 minutes home late and, oh, you're grounded or whatever.
Oh, really?
But for the most part, they trusted me, I think.
Yeah.
So they weren't like, staring at their phones while I was out and about. So,
See, if I had found this, if I knew about this technology when I was a kid, if they had it, I would have been like, Mom, Dad, I have
Don't
a
say
great
like.
feature.
Yeah, don't say like.
Sorry, Dottie. Mom, Dad, there's this great feature. I think you should use it to track me. And my parents, as my dad has said before, you should go out more.
Said it to you?
Yeah.
Well, I've been looking at that tracker, and you don't do anything.
You should go out. My
you're
mom
boring.
did say this. My mom did
She
say this
really
with
is.
the vaccine when people were saying, "Oh, Bill Gates is putting a chip." My mom goes, "You know what? If Bill Gates wants to watch me go back and forth to Deerbergs, be my guest."
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Ethan, you're still here because your
Yep.
parents cared about you.
They did. They loved you very much.
Well,
that pulled me through.
Thanks for your help today.
Thank you.
Thanks to everybody for listening. And you know what? Let us track you. Send us your location so Amy
Don't
and I
do
can
that.
keep tabs on you.
That's right.
The listener to the show. We love you. We will be back on Monday at 10 o'clock. Have a great weekend. We're going to hang out with the Glover Show for an hour here coming up on KMOX.
For 75 years, Caritas Family Solutions has proudly dedicated itself to enriching thousands of lives through tireless service to others, caring for children, empowering adults, strengthening families,